Hey, Cascoba. Good to see you, buddy. Welcome, welcome. Maintenance, I am not ready. I have got to get some shit done. I have not even done my summons yet. We'll be zooming a little bit today, guys. Forgive me if I don't pay much attention. Is there maintenance today? There most certainly is. I'm doing pretty good, Vulcanet. Need my prophetic candlestick. Excuse me. Get my daily stuff done. Oh shit, my guild's gonna yell at me. Go do some guild wars. Oh damn, it's a close one too. Okay, let's see if we can win it. Nothing exciting here. Dead, dead, and dead. How about over here? Dead, dead, and dead. So murder some waster towers. Got it. Let's see. Nope, nope, nope. Yo, Fat Hotshot. Thank you so much for the resub, buddy. 5 months. Bro, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. See, we need max points. How much is this guy worth? 140. That's not a full kill. How much is this nerd worth? 20 plus the 100 bonus. So that's the same as hitting anything else. Okay, so I guess it doesn't really matter what I hit. This looks easy. And this looks easy. Let's go ahead and drop some towers. I think we at least get the... Oh, wait. Ah, damn, 140. No, we'll go from Arunca into a rerun, into Arya, into a rerun, into Ross. Okay, enough farting around. Let's just get on it. Cleave the top team like always. And this bottom team, this. Oh, God damn it. Me and my button clicking compulsions. We run the child. We run... Do we run Mort or do we run something mitigatey and then a damage dealer? I think we'll wind up getting our asses handed to us by Mort if we don't Mort on Mort. And something to just we could kind of, no, I don't want to do that. I mean, it's a high school girl with a sword, so let's bring Veronica into play. Does this look good, guys? Everybody feeling good about this one? I'm not missing anything. Okay, let's rock it. I recommend you wait until the 23rd. I know it feels like forever, but if you wait until the 23rd, you can see the balance patch. And that way, in case, like, I don't know, something crazy happens, like Operator Sigurd becomes the most important unit in the game. Now, if you have OpSig and you have Celine already, then yeah, for sure, go ahead and get it. But if you don't have OpSig, you might want to wait to see what the balance patch looks like before you make a command decision. It's only like 2 more weeks. Is Fenris new EE that OP? Haretti, Bossarunka shuts down that possibility, right? We'll have to see. Remember, anytime something looks like it is a magic way to destroy something, it winds up getting drafted with it. So, expect to see Haretti and Fenris together. If you already have Opsig, do you already have Spirit Isolene? Because if so, just grab it, man. She's especially if you got Renok. If you got Renok, or you think you might pick her up down the road, just really good combo there. A lot of fun. And Galaxy coins are famous for just being kind of, I don't know, kind of meh in their selections. I tell you what, I do think the new Fenris EE will make Haretti disappear from, what do you call it? Disappear from, Guild Wars. Pew pew. Get stepped on. Yeah, Ron, I would totally get her. She's a good unit. She's good with she's good with Renok. She's good with she's good into DDR. She's a pretty, you know, she's a decent unit, and she's got a future to her, right? Her kit's always going to just get better and better. Okay. Murders the top. You know what? This would actually be better at murdering the bottom. What's a good team for the top? That's boring. That's kind of a wild setup there. Just going for the pop damage and carrying. I kind of like it. Let's do it. Let's do it. It's crazy and stupid. I love it. Do you think they're going to with all that? No, probably not. It's too late. It's too late. The asset's already in there, already semi-loaded. I mean, there's no time to make change now. Uh-oh. Just got back from an 8-hour trip. Damn. Nice miss. Get her. pop. Am I going to try Etheria tomorrow? What do you guys think? Nah, Miki's there to... look pretty. Okay. The closed beta is tomorrow, or oh, sorry, open beta is tomorrow. It launches, I think, June 8th. Full global launch. She got her wish. She's a real unit now. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm kind of looking forward to it. I have made the conscious decision to not look at anything, not watch any videos, not peep any guides. I'm going to go into it raw and blind. I'll go live tomorrow, probably around, say, I don't know, like 9 or 10 a.m. Just depends how late the podcast goes. We'll play Epic 7 for a couple of hours, and then we'll switch over to Etheria and have some fun with it. See where it goes. Lamo! Oh my god. Just on the weird outside chance you're on Holy Sack. I know it's unlikely, but we always gotta check, and everybody go bye-bye. Poof! Yes. Yeah. Well, no, he's not Rage Set. He's just a normal speed Ludwig with Caladra. My normal RTA Lud. Who else we hitting? We can murder this if we outspeed, and that's a big if. Any more easy meat laying around? Not, we'll come back, grab that top corner guy. Boring Sue. Oh my god, Sue, you're killing me. Good day, Jan. Am I going to build 2 Fenris? No. I'll just get both EEs and I'll switch to the Haretti one for Guild Wars when it's necessary, and then I'll put them back on the damage one for everything else. Because let's be real, you're never going to use them in RTA. What's up, Barisu? Blammo! Oh my god, that FCC frickin' lived. Ow. Jerk. Freaking punching a child like that. Hey, one question. If I got ML Celine and Hand Guy on my golden ticket summons, is that good? Ow. Leave the child alone, you monster. Eat this. And some of this, too. ML Celine and Hand Guy on my golden carrot summon. Yes, it's very good. Those are both A-tier units easily. Blammo. Pow. Don't wake up. Don't wake up. Don't wake up. Bye, Senya. Don't wake up. Yeah, that chick in the back, Hand Guy is very good at dealing with her, and he's also really good in lots of PvE. Celine is really good in Guild Wars, and will eventually be a solid RTA pick for you. Bye, Haretti. So yeah, be very happy about that. Also, Hand Guy is one of the Fallen Land units, so that is, this is not the team that I was supposed to take here. Well, this is awkward. This was supposed to be my Luna, Sober and Cleave Everyone's Dead team. Oh well, I guess we're doing this. For fuck's sake. If I haven't lifesteal gear, what's the best option for MLU Fiend? Protection set Arius. Or protection set 3F. Just go super, super high HP in defense. Are we going to lose this because I took the wrong goddamn team? Nice, nice. We love it. We love it. More damage. Show me what you got. Don't counter me. Fuck. Well, bye, Dragon King Shroon. It was nice. Ow. Gotta kill this before things get too far. Ow. Fuck. Ow. This is bad, guys. Taking the wrong team. Freaking rookie move. Can we stop? Any time now. The seal fucking my counters up is really, really annoying. How long until the update? Maintenance is about 40 minutes away, and then it'll be about a 6-hour maintenance. To be honest with you, usually they end a little early, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm expecting. It would be so nice if my Amiki would start countering anytime now. Anytime now, Miki. Just counter away. Oh, well. Yep, she only counters when it's not yours. That sucks, man. That was such an easy win for my Cleave team, and we took the wrong fucking team, and now the war is stupid close. We could have had an extra 60 points, been at 11-4. Ugh. Balls. Balls. Oh well. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. Took the wrong team. What you gonna do? Hey Zeus, how about you shut the fuck up? It was not throwing. I'm giving other people the opportunity to be the heroes of the story. It's as simple as that. Man, I hope Bystander is going to be in the next headhunt. I really want her. She should be. She should be. Let's go squeeze out some carrots. Remember, Sunday's the last day for getting your carrots, guys. What do we need? I think we need more Banshee mats, right? Yeah, only 400. I want to make sure this team still works. Ah, god damn it. I forgot about this. Everything's such a mess right now. Oh my god. Okay, you know what? We're just gearing. We got to put gear back before maintenance starts. Fire up Fribbles here. And look where all of my shit belongs. Okay. As a new player, is it worth it to get Fenris from the selector if you do PvP? Wait until tomorrow. Wait until tomorrow because Fenris is kind of dog shit in the game. And I'm not entirely sure that he is going to really change the face of PvP that much. So we want to really see how his EE works out. There are like 10,000 units I would use a selector on before I'd use it on Fenris, but I don't know. Let's get, just hold out until the weekend. Give it a day or two of testing. Let me see. Hide fully equipped heroes. Aka Hades, what are you on? What are you missing? Why is DN wearing that? Okay. So what is his value going to be? Have enough damage to melt one target and then he's gone? Yeah, just like in the story. Tywin, what are you missing? A effectiveness, health, speed. Health, speed, 19 effectiveness, flat defense. There it is. There, just hold on to that. Fuck, Arby. How do I build my Arby now? Warrant. Attack. Will this work? That's 97 crit. See, this is perfect. But it takes from my flan. 98 crit. How overstatted is my freaking flan? What can we give you? What gives you good damage and lets Arby have that boot back? That's 270. 341, 349. I can change this crit chance to flat. What the fuck's the deal with the effectiveness? But you know what? She's got a defense break on her S3, and maybe the effectiveness is pretty okay. I change this crit chance to flat attack, get this up to around like, yeah, I think we just do this. We'll just give her this piece. Yeah, $1's a buck, right? We take it. Show me a 57. Fuck you, game. Why am I doing this? Hide equipped. Fenris, what's your job? I kill Haretti. And what else? You kill Haretti. Here, check this out, right? I think this is pretty accurate. Let me find it here. Yeah. Classic. Poor Fenris. He didn't deserve that. I mean, I don't like the unit, but still, he didn't deserve that. You need to be on... Ah! Why'd I hit that button? Where? Hide heroes. You need to be on the shitty Song of Stars. Not that one, the shitty Song of Stars. Oh my god, I have too much crap on my account here. And you're missing a piece. What's local wearing? 23 crit damage, effectiveness piece. Hit. Attack. Crit damage. Effectiveness. That's the piece. All these guides like devastated my account. You don't know why they nerfed her? She has an 80% pre-ban rate. It's a pretty strong indication that nobody feels comfortable letting that unit through. So you create some counters to her, and maybe people will start letting her through. It's not going to work, but that's the theory. Oh shit, you're missing some big-ass gear. Let me see. You? And you. Yep, there we go. Silver bullets are okay if the silver bullets are done responsibly and have the potential for hero growth in the future. I'm not a huge fan of silver bullets, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So here's the thing, right? What happens if this fails? What happens if, like pretty much every silver bullet they've done in the past, this doesn't work? Now what's Fenris going to do? He's useless because the silver bullet they gave him's got somebody's name on it. And that's just kind of sad. Other silver bullets from the past, they've had a future, right? Torrent. But, yeah. If Fenris doesn't work, how can be used later? You see, like, you look at Death Dealer Ray. We had to come out with answers to Death Dealer Ray, so they dropped, is that right? Only 88. Okay, I guess so. They dropped, that can't be right. Is that right? I'm so weirded out by this build. It does not feel right. It's not right. She was all attack on drink. I'll come back and deal with her later. Anyway, DDR, right? They came out with Dragon King Shroon to handle DDR. And then it kind of worked okay, but DDR was able to do other things. Dragon King Shroon was able to evolve into other roles. When Seaside Bologna was running over everybody, they came out with Rowana. And she did a really good job of removing Seaside Bologna from the game, but when that job was done, she's evolved into other roles. There's other things you can do with Bologna now. What's Fenris gonna do when Haretti is no longer a problem? When Haretti goes the way of Apoc Ravi, when she goes the way of Dizzy in Arena, when she goes the way of, all the units that used to be problems and don't really exist in the game anymore, Fenris has got no room to evolve or grow because he's eternally got a single unit's name on the bullet in his gun and he doesn't do anything else. That's sad. Sorry if I missed stuff in chat, guys. I'm busy here putting gear back. An 88 piece. It's got 21 attack. Oh, ain't no fucking way. Okay, you can just... I'm not taking shit off my RB. You know what? This will work just fine. How different is it? 38 by 319, 40, 38 by 40. Close fucking enough, right? Let's make sure she still works. I can't make sure she works because I have too damn much gear. Ooh, ticket. He can use one of the other EEs, can't he? That do nothing. They didn't change his kit. They made his entire kit centered around stopping Haretti. He's got no other use in the game. He's an expedition unit, but he's replaceable there. They didn't really do anything to expand his usefulness. His other EEs are dog water. I mean, the damage one, I guess, is kind of nice for being able to make Expedition a little bit lower gear requirement. He can still boost the back row unit by 50%. He can if he's dead. And he's not taking a turn. He's not fast enough to take a turn, and he's not bulky enough to get there. The only way he takes a turn is if he gets that focus, and that only happens if he's got the number 2 EE and Haretti's on the team, and the enemy doesn't take Elvira or Sea Phantom Politis to totally knock him out. Let's imagine it this way. What happens if you pick Haretti on 3, and then I pick Fenris on 4, and then you go Sea Phantom Politis, Flan. Now what do? I die because I've got Fenris on my team, and he just dies, probably to Haretti's S3. I want to try to pick Haretti. So what I do is, if I'm first pick, I pick a random unit, you pick 2, and then I go Fenris Haretti. Now what do? How are you going to stop me now? Nobody's going to let Haretti off the hook because Fenris doesn't appropriately counter her, and if they do, they're just going to fight Fenris and Haretti together. Because remember, every single time a unit has come out to counter a unit, what's happened? That unit's become oh man, Arunca's going to be gone because of Arunca Renak. Drafted every time. Oh my god, Child Senya is going to totally get rid of Haretti. Senya Haretti. Angel of Light Angelica, Cleave is dead. Best cleave anchor in the game for an entire season. Guys, nobody's going to let Haretti off the chain who isn't already letting her off the chain just because they have Fenris in their back pocket. And you know what's sad is a couple of people are going to go out there pre-banning Fenris in a hopes to be able to use their Haretti, and then they're going to still run into an 80% pre-ban rate, and they're still not going to get to use their Harettis. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm I'm future seeing, and I could be wrong. I'm not, you know, I know enough about RTA to be dangerous. I've coasted an Emperor for months, but I don't play it enough to be an expert. Those experts, they'll be on tonight. They'll be on the stream tonight. We'll ask them, see what they think. 20 minutes. Who still needs freaking gear back? Let's look at Warriors. Sermia, you can get your coin back. Actually, no. Let's give you common artifact. Let's give you this. Shu, you need Daydream Joker. Is that a common artifact? I think it is. Yeah, there they are. There you go, Chu. Oh my god. Poor frickin' Lorena. What are you missing? There you go. Fixed. Tristen, why is SG so spineless? Just nerf hard and be done with it. Back in 2019, they solved a problem by nerfing some units, and it threw everybody into such a tizzy that they had this huge player developer conference where the people yelled at Smilegate so much that it engendered memories of when you go to a grocery store and there's a parent yelling at their kid so over the top, you're sitting there going, should I intervene in this? They actually had the developers ugly crying. I'm not even kidding. All of them ugly crying while they just sat there and lashed them with words and demanded that certain people be brought out who said things, and just like, I've never seen so much bowing and apologizing in my entire life. It was horrifically bad. And Smilegate promised they would never, ever, ever nerf again unless it was an absolute last resort. What got nerfed back then? Arbiter Vildred, Silverblade Aramentha, and Sage Ball Sazan. And then they instituted a way to make sure you could acquire units. They promised to be better about balancing and not release god tier units. In fact, the units that have come out in the past year were kind of on par with the units that came out in 2019. And they slowly drug it back from the brink. And every time I think about what happened back in 2019, I am amazed that somehow Epic 7 made it out of that year. It was that bad. It's not so long ago that they don't have a short memory. The last since then they only ever nerfed one banner unit, and that was Hua Young, where they finally couldn't figure a way around her, and she was costing them significant money. I've heard it pronounced Mistletoe. I've heard it pronounced Mistletoe. I think it's an artifact in another game too, but yeah. It makes sense, right? A lot of chapter, what am I looking for here? The helmet attack. A lot of the stuff from chapter 5 is very Nordic, right? Ronvald and Birgitta. I mean, these are all very Norse names. You would be wrong about that, Zon. I would say probably about 35 to 40% of the population lost their ever-loving shit over the Haretti nerf. And if you go watch Sue's video about, like, least popular unit in the game, where he talks about Haretti, a surprisingly large amount of the population feels that Haretti is necessary for them to play the game, and that nerfing her would absolutely ruin the game for them. Is that good enough? I think that's good enough. It's not what she's normally wearing, but I think that's good enough. She should one-shot everything. I think Haretti has one of the worst debuffs in the game. It's called Anti-Fun. An elegant solution to Haretti would be to just let her or lower speed like significantly, like minus 200% to your speed, you know, whatever. Flatline everybody down to 1. Everybody's flatlined to 1, and then you move according to your normal speed movements. Maybe even lower your own party speed by 100%, but the enemy's speed by 120%, and then you move by normal speed RNG movements. It would turn her basically into Leo, who is still a anti-speed unit, still something cleavers will hate, but you can work around it because you can trust speed RNG. You're not just sitting here going like, what randomness am I going to roll into, where my Sea Phantom Politis goes last, way ahead of my Arbiter Vildred. It should not work out that way. Because of the randomization, she's a skill nullifier and not a compelling unit. What the deuce? Oh, it's crit. And don't at me over my my Bologna. She's basically just gear holding lifesteal stuff because nobody uses her anymore, except for Katie's full autos, right? Ah, wrong goddamn button. How are we doing on time? 15 minutes? Haretti truly changed everything? Yeah. With regards to this exclusive equipment, I think the idea was good. I like what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to give answers to Haretti to make her more balanced so you could draw her in and play her, but also be able to counter her so that she wasn't such an I win button or such a hot mess of a unit that nobody wanted to play her. But I don't think they succeeded in that, and that the way they've done this basically means Fenris will never be a real unit. And yeah, it's just it's not good. Okay, what else have we got? Who else is missing their shit? Oh, you know what? Let's fix freaking, I've got to fix my Ross. If I want to play my damn Ross with my Robin, I need to slow him the fuck down. Speed. HP main, speed sub. What have we got? Ugh, God, it's all... Yeah. You know, the ER is not terrible. 159 times 1.05. 167, and my Tori is 170, so that's not bad. No. 32. Oof. That would be really, really good. But I use my Destina, use my Landy. Okay, I don't use my Senya. You get this piece. Yeah, she'll be permabanned. She's always permabanned. Yeah, Harley, but you also nullify your speed advantage. You completely everybody draws their cards and then you completely shuffle everything. The unit's a skill nullifier, which is why a lot of people who like her are people who just play RTA casually to try to get their master's frame. They're not worried about skill, they're just worried about getting the cookie and moving on. But veterans who play the game, you know, enthusiasts who play RTA a lot, almost universally hate her because she just randomizes everything and makes it not fun. Anti-fun debuff, am I right? They use the story's protagonism to deal with something that has no solution. Yeah, I know a lot of people are you know, geeking over the fact that it's lore accurate, but we also have a lore accurate Mort. How fun is that to play into? There we go. Perfect. Even has the effectiveness. Imagine if they made a hero that limits HP to 90% of their own. And then everybody plays like Tori. Tori level HP. No helmet units. How am I on gear? God damn it. Okay. Who is still missing a shit ton of gear? None of my knights. God damn it, Sigrid. Holy shit, what happened to my BBK? Make a guide, Tristen. It'll be fun, Tristen. Oh no, where's my BBK build? Tell me it got saved somewhere. Is that it? No, that can't be it. It's not 300 crit damage. It's not that one. Think that, no, that's base speed. I don't run base speed. Ah, there it is. You'll have to remind me in about 2 hours, my friend. We are just starting the podcast in about 10 minutes, and then we got probably a couple hours of that. And I'll be honest with you, I've got the attention span of a what were we talking about? What the deuce? Where is it? 18% attack. No. No. Ace Trainer! Welcome, welcome, my friend. I'm looking at weapons. Son of a bitch. No wonder I can't find it. Thanks for the raid, buddy. Hope you had a good stream, man. I'm just hitting your last minute trying to put my gear back on my units so that I can do something, and it's not going to happen.
Hello. Hi.
Hello, Mr. Sue.
It's I, the guy who's having a week.
Hang on here. Gotta help Ace out. He's saying he doesn't see the...
Doesn't see what?
Ace says he doesn't see the voice chat.
In your Discord?
You do it this way.
He just joined. I see. You just drag him in. He's right there. He's in raid together.
Oh shit! He went down to the raid. Okay.
He's in the wrong section. That's why.
It's okay. It's all good. It's all good. I'll pull him up.
Yeah. Are we doing cameras for the ship?
Yeah, sure.
I know Ace has one. Obviously, he was just on stream.
Ace, are you muted by choice, or are you able to talk? Oh, and I got a message, Coven. Coven said he might take a nap.
Take a nap.
Yeah.
All that work coaching Mr. Car 6.
I know. He was cheating on me. I was like, damn. Promised you would be over here, and then you go friggin' hanging out with Car 6. Feel like I'm being two-timed on. No, not this. And it's on you, and then this is on you, and my BBK is restored to her former glory. Okay. Any other last minute saves? Because holy crap, my gear. Oh my god, dude, I'm telling you. Oh, wait, there's Coven. Let me see what he's saying. We'll be there in a few. Excellent.
Let's go.
Let me see. God, Celine needs her gear back. Celine, who stole your shit? Watcher Shuri stole your shit. Demand it back. Demand compensation. There. Poosh. I hope that's the right piece. Is it 1029? 1029 it is. Okay, who else is missing stuff? Let's see. Haste we'll get later. Janua. Oh my god. Go make a guide, Tristen. It'll be fun, Tristen. You won't totally brick your account, Tristen. I'm not sure what's going on with Ace in the server. I'm just going to freaking mod him real quick. Okay. Ace, you should have full access to everything on my server. I just made you an admin, so you should be able to do anything in chat right now. Oh my god, what am I doing? Who am I working on again? Shit. Janua, and he needs a torrent. And attack. And it's currently on... It's 25-22, 25-22, 25, 25-24, 25-11, 25-22. Restored. Surprised there's no loadouts by now. The game is 7 years old. How do we not have gear loadouts? Yeah. Most games get that shit within the first, like, the first few months. Oh no.
Yup.
Oh no, what's going on with my gala?
Couldn't tell you. You should throw up your screen share here in channel so you can follow along.
Yeah, I will in just a minute. I'm just trying to make sure we get everybody in before we start. Okay. Still waiting on Coven. I think Ace might still be having audio issues.
I'll just use this time to go grab a thing of water then.
Yeah. Torrent and attack and not a weapon, you dingus orb. Is it that one? It's that one.
Why are you talking about Vivian's orb?
Hey, Joe. Thank you for the raid, buddy. Right back at me, right? I raided you this morning and you got even with me. Okay, I Jesus Christ, is my gear in any way, shape, or still 7-11? Oh my God. I guess I just don't get to use my stamina today. Hang on 1 second, guys. Good now. Cam came on once. Okay, good. I'm waiting to put up the cameras, Ace and Sue, because as soon as Coven joins, it'll jack the cameras up anyway.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You're good, bro.
Welcome. Oh, Coven sent me a freaking logo to put up over his camera too. Hang on here.
Dang, these Discord like camera backgrounds kind of suck.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
They kind of fucking suck.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I need a haircut so bad, dude. I was like, my hair just looks so bad when I look at it. I need a haircut in the worst way.
But it's only because you look at it from like, you keep looking at yourself, you know, when you stream. I bet like other people don't see the specific angles and they get looked at. Like from the front,
Yeah.
Let me see.
No.
How do I do this? Window projector. Where did it go?
I'll definitely get into probably get to something in the next like day or two.
Yeah. Is there like a go-to person now?
Oh yeah. I used to have like a really good hairdresser, and then she ended up like unfortunately having to take sick leave because I think she got hurt or something, and so no one's been as good as her. So like, damn it, I like lost my regular. Yeah. But I found somebody that I'm at least happy with now.
Okay, we're gonna test some cams here.
All right, let's do it.
This is exciting though. I'll say this because like I've done stuff with you before, Ace, and then obviously also Coven. So it's awesome to have you guys on, especially because we're going to talk about RTA, man.
Who doesn't love a little RTA? Especially now that Haretti's gone, because Smilegate did the best, most brilliant. I can't. Sue knows where I live. Who's gonna drive to my house and kick my ass? Okay, why is this not moving? Come on. Oh my God.
I winter. I was talking to Cookie the other week, man. He's got like a really fast winter, and it's just like it's so weird to me like that he plays it, and it's like actually kind of good.
I would love to just do a Cookie account review because of, I mean, remember Washable Platypi? He always had the craziest MLM units, and I think Cookie might like put him to shame.
Dude, the counter, like I-27 Tori is the weirdest thing. Like I-27 gear score to keep the HP as low as possible is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
It's so dumb.
Yeah,
But it works some games. Yeah, it's like it's basically Albira but on crack in certain cases.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I'm like, why does that work? The fact that it works is why Epic 7's so good. It's like when you're just like, that shouldn't work, right? Like Guide to a Decision, like Festivita or like Holiday Ufine, those builds should not work, but they do. Sometimes.
Guys, I think I did it. It wasn't easy, but we're all here.
You know, if you want to save some space. Oh, morning, Kobe.
Nah, you're fine, man. You're fine.
Morning. exhausting day piloting car 6.
Is anybody else creeped out by this right here? Like the
Skystone
hollowed
chest?
out chest and the Skystone hovering in the middle of this empty chest cavity thing?
It's because you have to have a hollow heart to spend money.
It's only one Skystone. Just means we're only going to need one Skystone to pull Ross, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Let me see if... let me just check one last thing. Display capture on. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, what did you just post, Dub? Giant image. I remember when I joined the guild and you were selling everybody on counter Vildred.
Oh my god. Just commit to the speed race, man. Don't chicken out like that.
It's so funny. I had to explain to somebody actually this week that was like a newer player what degen Vildred meant. Like, what is degen? Why is it called degen? I was like, because only a degenerate would build Vildred on counter set. That's where it comes from.
Oof.
I'm like, but what's degenerate about counter set? I was like, nothing really. Just some people get really tilted when it good props.
It's like play RTA for a little while, then you will understand. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I specifically wanted. Actually, I shouldn't take credit for it. It was Sue. Sue said, you know, what would be really cool is we're going into a brand new RTA season, so it would be great if we could get a couple of frames in here who could have opinions, because, you know, me and Sue, we're no frame, no opinion guys, right?
Yeah.
So
I have like 12 or 13 Emperor frames, but that's like literally doesn't mean anything to people.
Yeah, if you're not first, you're last. That's the rules.
Yeah, everyone talks about that meme, but I think like the more we like overhype frames, the less people, you know, starting RTA, they're gonna actually think it's serious. Like they don't think it's a meme.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
but like, obviously, like huge. Well, I guess you wanted to start with EEs, I think, Tristen, but like, yeah, just overall, we'll talk about like, some of the changes.
For you know, for the people who have been living under a rock and don't know who you guys are, you want to do some introductions?
Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself, dude, because there's a lot of cool things that have changed. I feel like in the last couple of weeks that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Well, calm down. It's not the Sue show. Let's hear what Ace and Coven have to say. So tell us a little bit about yourselves. How long you been playing Epic 7?
I guess I'll start. So I've been playing Epic 7 since Red Lilius first came out, and I remember thinking that her banner with like her S1 duels were so cool, and so I got into this gacha, and I've been enjoying ever since. I think my favorite character is probably ML Bologna, but I know who my audience is right now. I know Coven's also a fan. But yeah, I mostly play like tank down standard, try to be really strategic with how I react in draft. And even though I feel like my account isn't very speed oriented, like I'm always kind of playing catch up in the draft. I don't really like give up in any sort of meta, even though I feel like this one we'll talk more about.
Yeah,
that's me.
Oh, hey chat, before we get much further, how is the sound? Does everybody hear Ace good? Does volume need to go up or down?
Also, if you guys could not tell, Ace Trainer is I guess former or still maybe competitive Pokemon player. If the name didn't make it obvious, yeah, we did.
Go
ahead.
I used to love Pokemon, and I think I stopped playing around the Oras generation. So yeah.
I moved him up 66%. Is he better now?
Hello, can you guys hear me? What do you guys think? Is the volume adjusted good enough or what?
Okay, good.
On my end, he sounds, yeah.
Hey, Coven, when did you start playing, and who's your favorite unit, and why is it Magic Scholar Doris?
No, don't lie.
Hey guys, I'm Coven. I started playing 2019. And my favorite unit is Magical. No, I'm kidding. My favorite unit is Malona. I would say my favorite unit is usually based on gameplay. So right now, my favorite unit is Bossarunka because I think she's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I started playing Epic 7 because I used to watch a YouTuber called K Gaming. I think he actually rebranded because I can't find his channel anymore. But
Ah,
I randomly opened up YouTube. He was playing E7. I was like, wow, that game looks cool. So I just
Hey,
downloaded it.
Hey Coven, could you do me a solid and like double your microphone input? I've got you maxed out on my end, and chat's saying they can't
yeah.
hear you.
Yeah, I had to turn you
Yeah,
up a little bit.
go
Yeah,
on.
just turn it up. Yeah, but if Coven
Yeah.
said anything other than Lone Crescent Bologna is his favorite character, I would have been very concerned. So, because Coven's another one who I used to chat about for, he's one of the people I used to consult for like how to play videos back in the day.
I think my poor
Right, he's
Bologna's got.
Yeah, because like he
Yeah.
was like the big source of info for how to play Lone Crescent Bologna back in the day. Because I was like, there was like the council of like Malona players. There was like 4 or 5 of you. That was just like, these are the gods. It's like Winter Wish, Hez, you, and a couple other people.
Okay, I turned up my mic a lot, so hopefully it's better now.
Little better. Let me see if I can run Discord up on my end. Hang on here.
Yeah. Run it up a little bit.
Okay. I got Discord all the way up. Might have to turn
so-
Sue down a little bit so he doesn't blow people's ears out now.
Usually I would be louder, but it is 4 a.m. My mom's asleep. I don't
Yeah.
know,
yeah.
like,
I'd say also you're usually a pretty soft-spoken person to begin with.
yeah.
All right. Little Queen Charlotte viable.
Uh,
Anyone want to feel
about
that one?
She's viable in Ancient Inheritance, and if you want specific team comps with her, I think TristenWulf and his resources are amazing.
So the
arena.
she's very good in arena.
Yes. So I've heard. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, this is a character that is very near and dear to my heart. This is like the character that kind of propelled me into the like E7 content creation thing, because this was like the first how to play that I did that actually picked up a lot of traction. A lot of people associated this character for a while. If I'm telling you it's bad, it's definitely bad. Like, I don't think this character is very good, at least in PvP, right? Like RTA is where I primarily consider her usable, or like, well, in the past, right? So right now, at least for RTA, character's not good. I'm sure there's somebody out there be like, but Guild Wars, but Arena, but Ancient Heritage. I know. For World Arena specifically, no, she's pretty trash can.
Unfortunately, yes.
I got a question
I think-
from. I'm sorry, Coven.
I was just gonna say I think a lot of bruisers are in the same spot as she is. Just
Yeah.
not very good right now.
Yeah, because it's largely because like certain heroes, Death Dealer, right? Just make I feel like slow characters in general just not very good.
True.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think like
Go ahead.
every DPS in every meta that becomes powerful, they have some sort of built-in resiliency, and critical hits are just not the resiliency that's needed now. Since like LQC, like now it's all about synergizing with barriers that we saw with Tori, and then now we have units like Renac that tries to break through that like ML Celine or Tori sort of resiliency there, and it's this constant game cycle, and so yeah, it's just these units are faced now.
Yeah, do you want to talk about EEs first, or so you'll just talk about like the meta jar? Because like I've noticed like over the last like couple of weeks, like I haven't actually done my placements yet, but I did do some preseason stuff.
Mhm.
The meta kind of like moved very quickly. Like we had a Runka, right? A Runka dominated the meta. She's still one of the strongest characters I think in the game. But now, at least from what I'm seeing, people are starting to shift more away from like the 18 to 21 KHP counter set build. And I'm starting to see more people start to tank up because the Renac teams, right, with your Sharoons are kind of like becoming just so incredibly explosive that it's hard for them to survive. And I'm starting to see other changes. Like I was talking to Vic the other night, protection set, Imperial Illinab on like Aureus starting to make a come up. 280 speed Zeo on effectiveness build. It's like kind of becoming the norm, where traditionally it was like closer to like 260, 265. Like damage build is like basically obsolete from what he was telling me. So I'm like curious, like what other trends are you guys noticing from like what you've played, what you've observed? Because like I said, I'm seeing things move around at the speed of light. All kinds of builds changing.
I'd love to talk about ease, but to quickly answer what I observed, and then I also want to hear Cohen's input, is like Litica having some of your top speed prio gear. Lua, I think, is shifted slightly away in terms of like top speed, and Para, they don't need your top speed, but like Litica definitely does. And I'm seeing like a lot more faster Sharoons with like infinite effectiveness, because even when I'm on Noble Oath on Arunka, the Sharoon combo is debuffing it. And even when I have Agent Fiend, these Sharoons are somehow cutting my 305 Lua after the Renak goes. After the Renak goes, stuns herself, right? Their Sharoons are cutting my 305 Lua, and I'm just thinking, wow, these combos are so explosive. Like exactly what you're saying.
I saw what Kev was cooking for the other day for Sharoon. He's like 265, 270 on Sharoon. She's like 250F, and I was like, what the? Like,
yeah, these builds are getting crazy.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was saying. Like, and in order to deal with this explosiveness, characters that, like I said, like Ilanav, people always have been playing her Bruiser for the last like couple months. I'm starting to see people, especially Euphina, you mentioned Abyssal. Abyssal is like becoming by data, one of the better tanks in the format. I think she's right now 5th most played Arius character in the game and climbing.
Mm-hmm.
So just a wild time. Like I have really been enjoying the last couple of weeks, like of RTA from both like a viewer standpoint and like playing it and watching people in my Discord draft it. It seems like, I don't want to say it's like super open, but it's actually so drastically different than how it's felt over the last couple of months that like I'm kind of here for it. I don't know if you guys feel that very much the same way.
I'm kind of in agreement with Ace. I think I'm probably Renak's biggest hater, if I'm being honest, because I think her skill 2 is like the most obnoxious thing I've ever seen. Because like usually for effects like that, you have what's her name, Lethe, who's like her thing is actually not a debuff, so it's fine to call it a unique effect. But I think anything that reduces my stats by like 40% EHP, and it's a unique effect, quote unquote. So it doesn't matter if I have immunity. It doesn't matter if I have EO. I think it's really, really, it doesn't really make sense. Like that's a debuff.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But it's got to be able to work against bystander. Otherwise, like people won't.
Exactly. It's not like Hall was like this phenom like that was dominating the meta. She was already not amazing, and then now she's even worse. And then I really didn't like how like Arunka came out. They kind of sold Arunka for like that first week with like a really good rotation in the Mystic shop, and then Renak came out and just like people were saying Arunka was useless, which is like crazy to me because that unit's design is one of the most like outlandish things Smargate has done already, and then Renak came out. So I don't know. I pre-banned her after a day, and I haven't let her out since because first of all, I didn't have much else to pre-ban, and second of all, I don't like the unit.
Sounds like you're suggesting we buff Arunka.
I'm down.
I'm down. Let's go. I'm down.
Oh my god, my units are all missing gear. It's terrible.
Yeah, no, I'm almost right there though with you, Coven. From like everything I've watched, like Renak is like the powerhouse like pick right now. It feels like the combo with Sharoon. The combo with Sharoon is just so insane. I feel like that's like people were saying like the first week or Arunka was out. You can't let people have Ilanav and Arunka. Like that's just GG. You just auto lose. It almost feels like if your opponent has Sharoon, Renak, and you don't have Cecilia, like you're just kind of in for it.
Yep.
And then you add Litica on top of that. Like I personally right now I pre-ban Litica because like I think that character is the bane of turn 2. I was like, I don't know how I'm supposed to combat this character consistently. And I think Renak might be like next on that list. Like I think I might, like I said, I'm almost like right there with you. Like those two characters are just so explosive right now. Like that's like they're the two main drivers I feel like for people's offense this season.
Yes. I would even say that like Renak 1-2 with FCC is stronger than some sort of combo with Sharoon, because people usually pick Sharoon on the third pick to then synergize with, let's say, Teiyu or Blitica or a bunch of other things, just guaranteeing the Sharoon opener. But even if you just 1-2 Renak and you fight a player that's like faster than you and they're kind of like flexing their speed, or maybe they even slam down a Zeo, right? The FCC allows you to pivot completely.
Yeah. I think Cecilia is one of the strongest characters right now. I think she's,
Yes.
in my observation, like I think she's the best Arius Knight right now. I don't know how you guys feel, but I think
Good
she's
buff,
the best Arius Knight.
Smelgate. Good buff. Well done.
Yeah.
Hey guys, let me address something in chat, because this is a little bit of my fault, because I got confused. It happens sometimes. I get hit in the head a lot. There is no balance patch this week. The official balance patch will be announced on the 23rd or 24th, whichever is Friday, and then it will go into effect 2 weeks after that, so in June. So what's happened? What happened is it said 5.8 balance patch on Stove. They're talking about the changes to New Kid Auden and the changes to Fenris, the special outer rotation balance patch. So yeah, there's not going to be any balance patch notes tonight. If you're sitting on your Galaxy bookmarks trying to decide, are you going to pull Dragon King Shroon, or are you going to wait and see if Opsig gets, like, her back blown out? You're going to have to wait until the end of the month. Now, you still got like 30 days to lock in those Galaxy pulls, those Galaxy coins, so you don't have to, it's not like you're going to miss it. You're just going to have to wait another week and a half before you'll have that information, or 2 weeks before you have that information. So sorry if I caused any confusion with that. Why are heroes only buffed and never nerfed? You want to take that one, Sue?
So the long and short of it is,
make it the short of it, because that's a long story.
They introduced Mystics in early 2019. They released Silverblade Araminta before we had Immunity Set, completely dominated the game. Then they introduced Immunity Set and then sold you Sage Balances on to get around it. And then they buffed Arby based on player feedback, and he was way too busted. So we ended up having a meta where we had 3 OP characters that nothing could beat, and they ended up having to nerf them because, the player base was obviously unhappy online. But in Korea, you had people physically show up, go into Smilegate HQ, and just kind of tear them a new one verbally right in their own office. And it was not pretty. And we even had people crying that worked on the game, saying that it was like people were mean to them, and they basically just caved, said, you know what, we'll nerf all the things you want, give you a bunch of refunds, bunch of selectors, bunch of free MLs back, but we're not nerfing anything anymore. That's it. One time only. We're done. And that's it. That's where we're here.
2019 was a wild time. I'm not sure how Epic 7 survived the drama of 2019, but they have a long memory, and it wasn't pleasant. Yeah. The meet and greet between the developers and the community ended with the developers like bowing and ugly crying for hours, and they don't want to go back there. So yeah. It's not that they will never nerf, it's that it will always be a last resort, like with Hwa-Young.
Yeah, Red Hwa-Young is the only like true nerf since then.
It's the only nerf also, on a summonable banner unit.
Can we like just remember how crazy those buffs were? Like, we used to get attack buff before like all these reforges, people got like really good gear, all these new units like FCC and stuff. We used to get attack buff and revive and just destroy a team. Like,
RB, 2019 RB, like July of 2019 RB, literally, if you killed him on revive, the only way to survive is if you also had RB and he hadn't used his res, so you could do it back to them. It didn't matter what you played as your mitigation, your team died. It didn't matter. You could play Fallen Cecilia, whatever you want. You died.
Yeah. You also have to remember, this is in a world where there was no pity. There was no Mystic Summon. Well, Mystic Summons had just gotten started. There was no pity. And if you didn't get the unit, you didn't get to play. It was just so freaking strong. So they had to nerf to rebalance. People lost their everling shit. They promised they'd never do it again. Pet snacks happened, and I don't know how we made it out of that, but I don't know.
Also, we also went to SSB Winter after that, where Seaside Bologna dominated the game from September to May. that whole stretch where she was just. This is right when you started, Ace. You actually started. That's when Lilius came out. Right, Lilius SSB was like the dominant thing, and it just kind of stayed there for like 6 to 8 months. And I remember it very well because I had 12 IRL friends playing the game, and then I had 10, and then 6, and then 4, and then eventually just 1. And so I was like, is the game dying? And then Rowana came and saved us all, and then everybody came back. Rowana was like literally the beacon of hope that brought everybody back to the game.
I vividly remember those days because it was like my favorite playstyle thing to do, where all you do is just buff stack your SSB, and then you just sit there, right?
Yep. It was just FCC, SSB, and then your choice of choose one: Green Charles, Red Lilius, Ruel of Light. Just choose 2 of them. That's the whole
I
game.
have very like extensive trauma from that time because my favorite unit used to be Red Kairon, and like SSB was what pretty much made him unplayable at the time, and it was really, really depressing. I have to say.
That I think people always talk about the meta is bad or this is the worst meta we've ever had. I'm like, you didn't play during Seaside Bologna's reign, did you? Because like we literally watched the player base like shrink to like a 10th.
Oh my god!
It was. Like we all thought the game was going to EOS because they kept going. Well, Pavel will solve it. No, he doesn't. Charles will solve it. No, he doesn't. It was Rowana. Like Rowana was the one that finally worked and saved us all.
What you're saying there is what worries me, right? Is so many times their silver bullets have not quite done the job, or have not done the job at all. And that's what worries me about this this exclusive equipment being a very, very specific silver bullet, where it's like, you know what, this unit didn't solve the problem, but was able to evolve into other roles and fight other things and get buffed and changed as the game progressed and is able to stay in the meta. Sylvan Sage Vivian is a perfect example. She was the answer to Haretti, except Haretti just killed her. And they were able to evolve Sylvian into other roles in the game. Fenris isn't going to get that chance, I don't think. So I guess while we're at it, why don't we talk about these new exclusive equipments, and we'll save the best for last. So what do you guys think about a kendo stick girl? Is she going to have any use after these exclusive equipments?
No.
Do you need me to pull up the exclusive equipments to see them? I see. I think I can find them here.
I've had people tell me the combat radius increase one might do something. I was like, I don't know. So this character previously, how she was a pretty bad Haretti counter, and that was kind of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 20 extra. I mean, her S3 is a pretty hard nuke, and it's getting a 10% damage boost plus 20 extra gear score in the crit chance. It's theoretically will let you stack a lot of damage onto her. I
think the buff that's scheduled to happen with the maintenance also reworks some of their kits, right? So that's going to influence Fenrir's kit more, but I think if it buffs her S3 damage enough to the point where she's like one-shotting Haretti, if there's no mitt, then I would say, yeah, maybe she'll see some use if they really like tweak up the numbers.
It looks like they're not changing the damage on her S3 at all. They're just decreasing the cooldown so she cycles it faster.
Okay, so she sucks. So no speculation. She's still bad.
I mean, her A1 EE is supposed to be a lifesteal E. It heals her based on the damage she does, and if you soul burn, it's AOE. So if you build with a soul burn on an AoE, that would be practically a full heal on that one at least. And they're giving her like a Death Dealer race style pop on injuries. So that would be an AoE injury pop damage on top of doing additional damage.
Yeah.
I think I'm inclined to agree. Go ahead.
I think you're playing devil's advocate here because I think most Haretti players are ready with an Ilanov or a FCC. And so that pop is not going to do much. And then the reason why they switched her to a Soulburn AoE is because her first before the changes, Vigor would just always grant S1 AoE, and that was griefing her actually more so than helping her. Because we have units like Amiki, SSB, Ilanov getting free CR, AU Fiend, all these things, right? That interact with accidental small chip AoEs that just make the game state uncomfortable for her to S1.
What about you, Coven, with the ability to counterattack on her A2 skill to give herself a counterattack buff? You don't think these A1s doing constant counterings, detonating injuries, stacking more injuries, still don't think it's going to do anything?
Not really, because like her whole kit hinges on her dodging, and like we all know evasion units don't dodge, first of all, and then I think she's a bit of like a busybody. She's doing way too much stuff. Like she has the counterattack, the evasion, the injury. I think she's trying to be like a jack of all trades, but she's not good at any of the stuff she does, because when you think of any role you would want to fit her in, I feel like there's a better unit available, and she doesn't do enough in total to like justify picking her. And then when you also like a smaller factor is like her imprints, for example, you can only get from summoning multiple copies of her specifically. So like people are missing some gear score there, and then she's a 4-star unit as well, so you're missing some gear score there. So I think when you combine all of that, she's gonna be just like a niche pick when you want to have some fun kind of unit, kind of like Rylet in the old days. But I don't think she's gonna do anything really impactful, to be honest.
I just thought of a cheeky comparison. Is it fair to say that we have managed to power creep MLK run?
Yes. Unfortunately.
Ouch.
I don't know how MLK run is still a 5-star, to be honest. Like I think he's
Demoting him.
needed a rework for like since the day after he came out, and they've just been doubling down on this fixed damage thing, and then they just released FCC to make matters worse. With the buff, like he just keeps getting knocked down, and I think eventually you're gonna have to change his whole kit.
I think I agree with that.
Well, I did my best on. Oh, I'm sorry, so go ahead.
I was gonna say I did see Vic in the chat point something out about how he really likes the S1 here, and I think I'm inclined to agree, because now that you have like on-demand AOE, that's at least a full heal. Like that's not nothing.
It's a full heal into a detonation, sure.
It's like it's not nothing. Like I mean, you get the counters into heal. It's not nothing, right? I still don't think it makes her good, but I think that's the one that makes me go, you know what? Yeah, I'd probably play that one, because at least that one gives me a shot if I'm unlucky to stay in the game.
Yeah, I think if you have like a game where your opponent is playing like very low damage, I think she can actually have a place. Like with the S1 EE, you might not have to run lifesteal set as well, so you can maybe get like a destruction set or a speed set or something like that. So like when your opponent picks no damage, you can maybe do something, but it's still gonna be like maybe 1 in 200 games, 1 in 100 games, something like that.
Well, I tried Odd and Lovers, but as much devil's advocate as I tried to play, it just doesn't look like she's going to be a good unit. I mean, we all kind of knew it, but who knows? Maybe on test day we'll see some amazing stuff. Maybe people like Cookie will come up with some crazy uses, but I'm not an Auden fan. I never have been, but I know some people like her. It just sounds like her kit is like her S3, just too sloppy and all over the place.
Just think of it this way, just to summarize, to put the cap on it there. Think about the 4-star characters that are playable. Think about how broken they have to be to offset the loss of gear score. Your BBKs, like your Veronica that counters your BBKs. Your Infinite Horizon Acades just gets free speed every turn for existing, right? Like you have to do something like actually degenerate, I feel like, to be a 4-star and be usable in the current state of the game.
Okay, I guess it's time to address the elephant in the room, or the elfish ranger in the room. So Fenris's buffs, which will go into effect once maintenance is over. The only thing they have changed is they have added to his Strike of Fate skill an increased combat readiness of the back row ally by 50%. We all kind of expected that this was going to tie into the EE. I mean, they specifically said these buffs are to tie into the EE. I just don't think anybody expected this. So his exclusive equipment, for those who have been living under a rock, boosts his attack by 7 to 14%. So it's, he's already one of the highest attack units in the game. So we're really jacking his attack through the roof. And the EE that everybody's going for is, of course, Soaring Arrow, which dispels 1 debuff from all allies when he uses this skill. I'm kidding, of course. It's Unwavering Will. When facing Haretti as an enemy, it's the very first time an exclusive equipment is called out a unit by name and said specifically, I'm designed to ruin this unit. Will grant purification, only applies to PvP, and it will increase fighting spirit gain by 100%. Now, before we get started, I just want to say this right out front because there's a lot of confusion back and forth and misunderstanding about this with the interaction with Sea Phantom Politis. This EE doubles fighting spirit, and Sea Phantom Politis cuts fighting spirit in half. If you double anything and then cut it in half, it's the same. So having C Poly on the team and this EE on the team would be like having Fenris and no C Poly. Her presence does slow down Unwavering Will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So a lot of people said, no, C Poly doesn't stop this. Yes, she does. Well, she slows it down, right? You'll have to soul burn or do something to get extra fighting spirit off to make this work. And of course, by CR pushing by 50% the back row unit, by immediately gaining 100% fighting spirit, this is going to let him be basically a more effective Zeo. Whereas Zeo, you need people that when you soul burn, they can CR push up. He's going to innately CR push people up, so he can basically push anybody up. You can have the 50% CR go into a BBK, into a Renak, into anybody that would destroy the enemy team. So if people pick Fenris into Haretti suddenly becomes a liability. Now, and of course, Strike of Fate is the people who just want to use them in PvE to make them a little bit more effective at killing Hades, a little more effective at beating the Ice Expedition, which are really his only 2 PvE uses currently. Maybe we'll find more after this, but that's about it. So what do you guys think? Is this an effective Haretti counter? Because Haretti has 3 major presences, right? Guild Wars, she's all over the place. Arena, she's all over the place. RTA, she would be all over the place if 80% of the population didn't ban her. How's it going to change all these aspects?
I think it won't allow like Fenris plus a DPS to kill Haretti because most of the higher end like villager playstyle meta, when they pick Haretti, they probably have an Ilanov or FCC right now. That's just how it is. Or else they would be too susceptible to being like green Senya anyways, a little Senya. And so this is kind of fulfilling the same niche, but in a more proactive way, where you're not locked into another unit, right? If you pick like if you're relying on Green Senya to, I guess, reverse sweep the Haretti S3, then usually, I mean, you're gonna have to pick Mit 3 or Senya 3, and then you might die to, let's say, if they pick Araz or Fire Flan. In this case, the damage is a lot more straightforward. It's less weak into Aureus, and it's less weak into FCC, right? Because it's not fixed damage like Green Senya. So I think he'll have some uses, maybe in Arena and Guild War, but in RTA, I feel like the damage, while decent and while synergizing with the backline, it's not going to be like super crazy to where it's going to break through like Haretti plus Mit. So.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of on a similar line to Ace. I think Smartgate also, I posted like a picture of how I found out about this EE. And then I think Smartgate generally has like a kind of list they go down in terms of how they counter a unit, where it's like soft counters to start with to try and like kind of tap the unit down. And then you have like a direct counter, which they did with like Schneel with DDR, and then you had Young Senya with Haretti, and like this is probably the first time where that has failed, where Haretti was still dominating the meta even with Young Senya, and then this seems like the next step where it's like literally a direct call out in an EE. This unit is a problem. We're trying to fix it. But like, I think this really sets like a really worrying trend for the future. Like now we just know if a unit gets too out of control, they're just going to target it with another unit with an EE or a buff or something like that, which I don't really like the sound of. I think it's just like this is the road that no nerfs leads you down, where you just go down a rabbit hole of this unit counters this unit and this unit counters this unit. And Haretti is the first the first problem they couldn't solve with these like kind of direct counters. So I personally don't like it. I think the EE is pretty effective because the only situations it wouldn't work is when someone picks Sea Phantom Poly or Elvira. So if you're careful enough, I think he can work. But I don't know. I think they kind of need to. I thought they needed to take a stance like they did with Red Hoa, where they just nerf the unit and eat the backlash that you're gonna get because she's so. Haretti is so like the fact that it's viable for me to build 2 of every unit and I just have an advantage because I never have to pre-ban Haretti because I'm always prepared is something a lot of people don't like. I'm actually one of the like few where I don't really mind Haretti. I don't pre-ban her. I'll play against her because I enjoy picking niche stuff. I enjoy building multiple of a unit because I have the ability to, but a lot of people don't have that ability and it's going to be very annoying. So I understand why people are frustrated, and I think this was a really risky way, I guess, to deal with it. And I guess we'll see how it turns out in the end. But I'm not hopeful based on this EE.
Yeah. I'm no arena expert. I'm sorry, I'm no RTA expert, but let me just do a hypothetical. Ace, let's say you and me are playing, and for some wild turn of events, neither of us ban Haretti. And you pick first, you slap down, I don't know, ML Luna or something horrific, right? And then I go Fenris Haretti. How you deal with that?
Well, if you go Fenris Haretti, I think I would just go like FCC ML Senya. I don't think it's too big of a deal. I think stealing Fenris isn't going to do much because it's all about just being prepared for the incoming damage. And Fenris is just honest damage, right? So all I need to do is just worry about the Haretti debuffs and get some tempo from that, right?
Yeah.
It's okay.
What about if I go what if somebody tries to pick Haretti in the fight and I just go Zeo Fenris and then stick somebody like Flan on 3?
Oh, well, if they early Haretti, I guess I mean they're probably playing to just debuff and then play green Litica, and so you just need to play more tanky. Like Zeo Fenris, maybe it's okay. Yeah, Zeo Fenris is probably okay. You can probably run them down. Pretty good.
Yeah, like I my whole thing was like the mission, like the assignment was this unit is 72 to 86% of the pre-bans in World Arena. That's a problem. Let's make a solution that is not the most palatable, certainly not the most elegant, and I don't necessarily know if it even fixes the problem or even mitigates it at any point, right? Because like you were saying, like Fenris is honest damage. I feel like anybody who's playing Haretti, like they're either it's I still think it's just going to be pre-banned, or anybody who wants to play Haretti, they will just ban Fenris. I don't know. But yeah,
that was my biggest concern with this is it's designed to try to make people play Haretti more, right? The end goal of this is to make the unit more balanced, not to remove her from the game. She's already effectively removed from the game. They're giving the unit a skin. They want people to actually play the unit or they wouldn't bother making a skin for her, but they need to make her more popular. And right now at an 80% pre-ban rate, nobody gets to play her in RTA. So in theory, you give some additional counters. She's already got a handful. We give a few more counters, and maybe suddenly people go, you know what? Now that I've got answers to that, I will just go ahead and pre-ban other things. Let her off of the chain, let her see the light of day once in a while, and maybe she gets played more because I got ways around her as long as I don't pick like a doofus or don't get trapped by her at the end. I think that's the end goal. I don't think it's working, but I think that's the end goal. I just see a lot of people not changing the fact that they're banning Haretti And the people who actually try to get her through are typically lower end players. They're not the enthusiasts or the masters of the game. They're people just trying to bang out their master's frame, slip into to get their champ's frame the first time. And they're using her because they don't have the gear. And she's a serious speed set equalizer. Nobody likes getting cleaved, especially early on. So she's a way for those people to play. And all it's doing is actively making it more difficult for them to use their units. So it's not changing the 80%, and it's actually harming the 20% who do play her.
Yeah.
Thanks for the sub. I appreciate you, buddy.
Another thing with Haretti is like, when you take aside like the stuff with her Estia and like the law of Skageheim and stuff, I think one of the most like unnecessary things they added was making it so your opponent can't CR boost when she's taking her turn, because that, I think that's what really like sealed off pretty much the whole of the cleansing pool, because if you can't CR boost while she's debuffing you, then that's what makes the like Haretti RNG really annoying to deal with. And Senya was like their first solution of equalizing that, where if your Haretti goes, my whole team is going next. But like, for example, if they're, I don't think the complaints would have been that as bad if, like, for example, they just said, oh, from now on, your opponent can CR boost during Haretti's turn. Because I think the main reason for that passive was so, like, you couldn't do, like, Haretti plus Ludwig, Haretti plus, like, these kind of cleave stuff that would just make it, like, impossible to play the game. But I think if they just made it so your opponent could CR boost during her turn, that could have been another angle, but I don't know.
Yeah. It would make Elena actually a viable like answer. Like people could just build base speed Elena like 300 ER,
exactly,
mag tome, and you'd be right as rain.
Yeah, that's what. Just I don't know. I think they kind of drove. They kind of do this really often, where they'll make a strong unit and then just add in completely unnecessary parts to their kit. Like another example is New Moon Luna. We all know her Sorban S3 is one of the strongest in the game. Her S2 did not need to be as good as it is. Like giving that kind of skill at one turn cooldown was never going to be a good idea. I think they probably knew that.
And the other thing is the skill effect nullifier too, right? Because it's like, well, this unit would just get countered by Zio. Like we need the character to have a ridiculous skill 3, but like we can't just have Zio counter it. And it's like, why not? Like it's like how Rand back in the day. Rand gets a skill nullifier. Why? Because Green Violet was the best character in the game at the time. So we can't just have Violet be a counter to our new unit. And it's like, no, you can. It's healthy for characters to have counters. Like, please. I want my units to be counterable.
Yeah, unpopular opinion. That's probably going to ruffle Sue's feathers here. I think it's a good idea. In fact, I think there are no bad ideas, just bad execution. The idea of we need more answers to Haretti to make her a viable unit, to make her, because a viable unit is a unit that's strong but not unbeatable, a unit that's got counterplay and synergy with other units, so you can build a team to use it, you can build a team to fight against it, and this is a step in the right direction of addressing that issue. It's just really bad execution. The way they're going around it, we all agree that we need more answers to Haretti, or Haretti needs to be nerfed. We all know Smilegate doesn't do the latter, so we are left with the former. We need ways to make a good stand against and deal with Haretti. That's not just we're all handed our. I've been quoting you all day with this, Sue. Everybody draws all their poker cards, and then Haretti comes in and shuffles the freaking river. So we need some answers that allow us to regain control of the fight when she's in play. And this is a step in that direction, but what's sloppy about it is if it fails, and let's be real here, Smilegate's solutions to meta problems, they don't have a great track record. And if this fails, it leaves Fenris out in the cold. I mean, it really is this situation right here. A lazy counter to an OP unit that will follow the meta, eventually making you once again irrelevant.
Yes.
And that's a shitty way to treat Fenris, like him or not. That's a shitty way to treat any unit. And that's why I'm okay with the intent. And we all know what the road to hell is paved with, but the execution is so bad, and that's my principal issue with this, is how they're going about it.
I think there was a similar issue with Neo, although it was a lot less blatant, right? It didn't just say when Death Dealer Ray exists, deal 10k damage to your opponent. No, it was more subtle, but it was still just focused on DDR, right? And they've balanced around like the best of the best MLs for like maybe 3 years now. But another example recently would be Fire Flat, right? We know how strong she is. She can slot into any sort of playstyle. And then we got Illigos removing resource reduction, right, with his S3. And then we have Fire Litica. So these things are kind of, general resource reduction and stuff like that. It's the developers acknowledging that, like, they know it's kind of subtly targeting characters, but when they balance in that way, it's like they're communicating that they have a sense of what's decent in the meta and how things can change to not make something like Haretti overpowered. But when you just say a line like, when you're facing Haretti as the enemy, it's like, wow, we don't. It's like the developers are so scared to think of micro interactions between like all these kits, and they just want to have this obvious band-aid, right?
Yeah, I did.
1 second, Sue. Neotype. What we're talking about, how is he becoming irrelevant if they're giving him a purpose in PvP? What we're saying is once Haretti becomes irrelevant, then so does he. And we've seen that happen before. ML Landy was the meta. Now she's not used very much. Dizzy was the meta. Rem and Violet were the meta. Charles was the meta. Metas shift, and units that are the must-have broken monstrosities of the day become forgotten relics of the past. And to think that one day we're not going to look back and go, man, remember when Haretti was the hard to fight? Those were some crazy times. It's going to happen, and then Fenris has got no future mobility. All the counters to the metas that I mentioned in the past, they have been able to evolve into other roles. Fenris just goes back to being a somewhat replaceable expedition unit and a 4th tier choice for fighting Cadies. And that's kind of sad that they would, not give him any potential to evolve after his job is done or his job is obsolete. Yeah. Sorry, Sue.
No, to go back to it, like, I agree with you, Ace. Like right before we did this podcast, I actually put up my thoughts on this entire thing. And I have to agree with what she said. Like, as somebody who used to design for card games back in the day, one of the things that they tell you not to do is like, don't make a silver bullet, because it's like, it kind of is the not so subtle way to be like, you kind of gave up. Like, it was too hard for you to design a thing. So you just said, well, what if I just make a card that says you just can't play the thing? And anybody, even those who've never designed a card, can look at that and go, the hell? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It just sounds like you didn't really do your job, right? Like, if you had to, like, it's kind of like having an essay that you have to write to turn in like a paper for college, and you clearly didn't research anything, and it's like the night before and you're like, well, I gotta turn in something, and then you just kind of YOLO it and just throw it out and go, see guys, I did it. Like, I submitted, I got it done on time. It's like, but you didn't really do a good job at it, right? And everybody kind of knows, the teacher knows, like, yeah, this wasn't a real effort.
Yeah. I do want to say, I think Smilegate is in like a self-inflicted terrible spot with Haretti, because how else can you counter this unit with her current kit except making a unit that goes before her? And the only way you can do it is by doing something like this, because I think if they, for example, didn't put this like when facing Haretti thing and they just made like, imagine like a carbon copy of Zeo's S2, but with like a different kit, like a turn 2 type kit, I think people would still be unhappy, because Zeo is like one of the most, either you love Zeo or you absolutely despise Zeo from what I see. Like there's no one really in the middle. And when you like, the only way to counter Haretti is either make a young Senya, which they've already tried and it didn't work, or you make a Zeo, which I don't think they've really explored, and this is kind of their first time trying that. So I am giving them like the smallest of passes, because I think this could potentially be a one-time thing, because I think if you're smart and you want to reach that 10-year plan, you're never gonna make a unit like Haretti again. You're never gonna make a unit that's this much of a like game warper again because it's not. They've learned the hard way. It's not easy to like counter units like that. So actually, yeah, Tristen is putting out boss Arunka, so maybe I'm wrong. Actually,
Yeah, maybe.
I was actually doing this for Cookie, who's sad that he went in all in on Arunka and now won't be able to get Rast. I'm like, dude, don't be sad.
Yeah, I don't know why. Whenever I look at Genesis Ross, I'm afraid about what this unit is gonna do. Like when you have a Skystone as a heart,
his damage multiplier is based on the amount of
Skystones you have.
Oh, okay. Wow.
You don't soul burn, you Skystone burn.
Yeah, you Skystone burn.
Oh,
well, you could be the world you could be the world champion and just spend 7,777 Skystones for this soul burn.
So I think it's a good segue to move over into Genesis Ross, since I think we've kind of beat the horse dead about the Fenris buffs and its interaction with Haretti. I will say this, guys, before you go using your selector tickets on Fenris or dumping 10,000 Mola into the unit, wait, just give it a couple of days. See actually if he changes things, if people people are going to stop banning Haretti for a few minutes just to test him out. But if it gets beyond test day, if it looks like he's still good, we've been wrong before a lot. So we could be wrong again, and this could be the perfect solution. Don't think we're wrong this time, but you know what? We never think we're wrong. So let's see how it tests out and then make an informed decision. Please, 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 please don't use a selector ticket on Fenris until you're sure it's going to work.
I do want to briefly mention, Tristen, you said earlier how C-Fans and Poly is going to like make it so he can't S3 turn 1. I think from what I've seen, almost every single like dedicated Haretti player has a villager Politis ready. So I'm really skeptical about his impact because like everyone has a second Poly, it feels like, if they're leaving up Haretti. So like I don't know how this is going to go.
Pre-ban villager. A lot of them pre-ban Poly though.
That's fair as well. So I guess we'll see. Like Tristen said, we'll find out.
Gang's all here. Thanks for the raid, Hino. Hope you had a good stream, buddy. And real quick to brush over, because we really just focused on the RTA side of things. I think he will have somewhat of an impact on Arena, but the impact's mostly going to be, you're going to see a lot of people shifting from Haretti defenses to Haretti C-Poly, Haretti Elvira Bellion defenses, Haretti C-Poly Bellion defenses. They're still going to, she's still very, very good there, and they'll find ways to counter him. And I think the biggest impact he'll have is Guild Wars. I think you'll see Haretti defenses on Guild Wars evaporate overnight, because I can't think of a 3-man team that could survive going against him. But maybe someone will figure something out, so we'll have to see.
The cooks will do something.
Yeah, exactly.
All I ask is that ML Arya is not a Haretti counter. That's the last thing I need. I need to not waste another valuable art asset against this character.
Don't do it.
So since it was brought up, the general feeling is, of course, we're going into the 3-week Mystic rerun. We don't know who the ML4 is. That's going to be coupled with that. A lot of people think it's going to be Dark Surin, right? But I think based on the level her animation was at her reveal, at her tease, I think it's early. Maybe she's out, but I think she's maybe going to be down the road a little bit. But I guess we find out if it's ML Surin. I guess tomorrow we'll be able to future see into that banner, right? And after that, there will be another ML5. Some people are thinking it's Genesis Ross, but if you look at a calendar, we know Genesis Ross is probably the Worlds unit, the E7 World Cup signature unit. And that would put him not as the next ML5, but the one after that. So
should be in July. That'll be in July, which is when New Moon Luna and Landy both released last time.
Yes, most people think the June ML5 is going to be ML Arya, just because we've seen her animation. We've seen some work on her. It's not guaranteed, but that's most likely. And then we'll run into another rerun banner, and then we'll run into Genesis Ross. So you guys have got 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 weeks before Genesis Ross's banner goes away. So those of you who are like, there's no way I can pull this unit now, 13 weeks is a long time to be saving up Sky Stones, spinning the secret shop. It'll roll us through an anniversary. They're always very generous. Never say never. I mean, it's over 3 months. So fingers crossed it can work out for you. And but we don't know anything about his kit yet. The one thing we know is the world's units have been, DN, who is a 2018 unit, who is still a powerhouse unit. And then we ran into Landy, who, although she has fallen down quite a bit, in her time, she was the most devastating monstrosity out there. It's basically or Remnant Violet's S3, but it's AoE. It took Mort stopping her counters and Ilanov stopping her pens. It took so many things to finally shut her down. And then the next world unit is still arguably the strongest unit in the games, ML Luna. So the one thing we know is the World Cup signature units are always insanely powerful. And Ross has got the advantage going for him as far as like the kit being strong going, of being a guy, being a husbando. And say what you want about equality and everything. Husbandos don't sell as well as waifus in this game. Like significantly worse. Now, Ross may be the MC and people love for that, but they don't sell as well. So they're going to make his kit even more stacked to up those sales. So I am expecting Genesis Ross to like blow the freaking lid off of the meta. Just my thought. What do you guys think? Am I really off base and you think it's much ado about nothing, or is this guy kind of scaring you guys like he's scaring me?
I don't know if like there's more fans behind ML Aria than ML Ross, because you're talking about the point that like, okay, they need to make something really hype to represent the WC, and they've had MLs representing WC for a while. So maybe there is like more traction with like a female character. Would they then do Genesis Ross and then have like ML Aria be like the star? There's no way, right?
Well, we already see the sword in the background. We see Genesis Ross's sword in the background of the RTA background, the same way Luna's spear was there. So they although it's not confirmed, it's pretty freaking confirmed, because I just don't believe in coincidences that big. But you do bring up a valid point of how insanely strong is Arya going to have to be to convince people to start dumping mystics into her instead of saving for Ross. So we could have 2 juggernauts heading our way.
I don't want to think about that. I only have like 14 polls.
I've got Jesus, what have I got?
Yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement. I kind of hope Ross like is a huge shift, because to be honest, I'm fairly sick of.
It's not good. It's not good at all.
I think I have like 4,000 mystics right now, so I'm.
Oh, lucky you. I have less than Tristen.
Because like, I don't know, I think I'm pretty sick of stuff like DDR, stuff like Luna, these kind of units. I'm down for a new someone to kind of take their place. I think Arunka was a pretty good start, to be honest, and then we're gonna have Arya next, and then probably Ross, like you said, the next new rotation after that. And the E7 World Cup units are kind of like the art contest units. Like when you think about every art contest units we had F10A really broken when she came out, Gala Lilius really broken when she came out, Flan really broken when she came out, and she's still broken to this day. It seems like they kind of know when a unit needs to be strong, and it's the same thing with these E7 World Cup units. Most of them get 2 animations, which is like out of the norm, and then they're also usually really strong. So I'm fine with Ross being strong, because I think first of all he looks really cool. Like Adventure Ross was also already a pretty good design, but Genesis Ross just looks pretty cool. So
Mhm.
I'm pretty excited, to be honest.
Yeah, I am also like main character, and it's literally the 7th anniversary of Epic 7. Like,
Oh crap!
who
Yeah.
who, who, who else are you gonna get to be
Yeah.
your world's unit? Like literally the finals, like the grand finals of the E7WC is the anniversary for the game. So it's like, who else are you gonna get to cap off your biggest event all year than like the main man? Like, and I agree with you guys. I hope it's a shift. This is what I started the podcast with. Like, I'm starting to see the new characters like causing shifts, and I'm like, I'm here for that, right? Like, I'm the one thing I'll say about Coven, we keep Luna, but that's just because it's a Luna, right? Independent of the kit, I want to keep a Luna in the meta as long as possible. After how badly Blue Luna has been shafted over the last 7 years, like, please give us something. But
Fair enough.
yeah,
Poor Luna.
I'm over Haretti. Like, even I was one of her staunchest defenders. I used to defend her all the time, like in the first month. I'm over Haretti. I'm over a lot of the characters. I'm super over Death Dealer Ray, right? I just
Oh, God.
he's just he's actually toxic. It's so funny that his zodiac sign, by the way, is Cancer. It's the funniest thing in the world. It'll never not be funny. It'll never
Hot
not be
take,
funny. That
it's
is
not a coincidence. I don't
It's
think
not a coincidence.
It's not a coincidence. They knew.
yeah.
So-
This is definitely one of the biggest design mistakes they've made. Was
Oh man, yeah.
taking away his focus speeder and just saying, yeah, you could just do it. Just do it at the start. It's like got to be one of the most egregious decisions ever.
I think old DDR with the focus was one of the most like skill intensive units
He was
like,
great design.
of all time because
Yes.
when
He
you
wasn't easy
got
to
off his
use, yeah.
S3, it was like, wow, I played this game so well. I deserve this. I deserve to like get this win.
Yeah.
And then the first thing was when they made his S3 like you could just cast it, and then they made it so it strips. Is it 2 buffs now?
Yeah.
Which is like that's pretty much their go-to whenever they want to make like a debuffer really broken. Let's just give them a strip because
Mhm.
back in the day when you used to play Cleave, you used to play a dedicated stripper and a dedicated like defense breaker or debuffer. Now like every meta stripper just does both, and DDR is like the king of that. So I don't know. We need like Schneel, even though like Schneel was like the Fenris before Fenris. He's not enough to keep this guy in check. So
All right, I'll be
I
so
would
real
love
with
to see
you.
him.
All Schneel needs is a real S1.
True.
Like, if he had a real S1, right, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. Like, if he had
You know
Desert
what's
Jewel
the sad
Basar's
thing,
S1,
though?
if he had Desert Jewel Basar's S1, we wouldn't be like, he wouldn't feel like such a scam.
I can't pull up
I
the
think also,
GG
like-
site because it's down for maintenance, but doesn't Schneel have the highest win rate in the game?
Maybe.
Does he?
But
He's third. He's third. I think he's third at the moment.
I have
I'm not sure he needs a better S1. I'm just saying.
I think
the sad thing is though, like the meta is going to be so different and focused on like patching up this fixed damage thing now that Renak left the hole in this like entire tempo meta that's happening right now. Like
Yeah.
7k fixed damage is too crazy, right? And FCC is the only check right now. And I wish I could talk more about like how unfair Renak FCC is when those
Oh
picks
my
are stolen. But
Yeah.
but like Schneel just having a kit based on fixed damage, unfortunately, guys, now like a year down the line, units are still going to, try to be anti-fixed damage, and so because of Renak, so Schneel is kind of lost cause until they rework his whole kit. That's the unfortunate thing when they.
It's a shame.
I think-
He's such a cool character too.
Schneel is another example of what I was talking about before, where I think they try and make units do more than they should be doing. Like, if you wanted a DDR counter, you could have made his S3 like, I don't know, more defensive rather than this like hybrid defensive offensive thing. You could have made it so let's give his S3 less power, but let's make it so he works on sleep as well.
Mhm.
But they kind of try and it's the same thing with Lyre as well. They always try and make these units like do their job and more. Lyre S3, if it never did like as much damage as it did, I think Lyre would be one of the best designs they had made. But because you could just have like the 30k true damage for fun, like Lia just became the problem herself instead of being the solution, and it's like
Yep.
a trend they just keep doing every time. Like
Yeah, and
they just never learn from it.
yeah, you can trace this back to the Genazod specimen says AOL thing from back in the day. You remember Jenna went crazy. I'm sure we all went crazy to pull AOL because AOL was so broken upon release. And they said specifically they kind of messed up on that character, but they were
You
afraid
think?
with they were no hold, but they were afraid with the initial kit that it wouldn't sell. So they had to add more to the kit to get it to sell. Like you have to, it also has to be unstunned. You can't be stunned. It also has to give, silence on the S3, right? Or unbuffable. Like it was designed to be an anti-cleave character, right? It was supposed to be, you AoE me, I get skill nullifiers. Like that was its primary role, but it's like, that's not good enough. So it also needs to be CC immune, and it also needs to just be completely backbreaking with its skill 3 for the time.
Yeah,
And now every opener, even now, needs to be anti AOL. Like if you're an opener that has an AOE S2 or S3, you better hope that you restrict or, not proc AOL somehow, right?
Yeah.
That's how we got Monk, how we got Litica.
the red Litica effect, the monk effect.
Yeah, your AoE attack has to give 2 debuffs, and the second one has to be the debilitating one, so that way AOL doesn't do that. That's what I'm saying. Like, so your guys are 100% right. I definitely look at the kits, like when I do my impressions videos, I'm like, okay, the devs like clearly did this thing because they wanted this one thing to not screw over their character, because otherwise we'd be like, yeah, cool character, but like loses this, don't pull it.
Yeah.
I think the one thing I want to meet the guy who signed off on Red Litica's S2.
You just want to have a talk with him, right? I mean, nothing threatening.
I just
We just want to talk. We just want to talk with him.
And restrict and a strip on the same skill. Like, I want to know what he was drinking that day, because that stuff must be
a little loaded, isn't it?
Your skill 2 is just it's Faithless Litica S2, and Nicole S3, but it's an S2, not an S3. It's like, what?
There are units with worse kits than just her S2, and it has resource reduction. Who made this?
Man, the prophet Damone Kim was right. Just 4 years too late or too early.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were thinking.
But I will say, guys, I have to bounce. I enjoy talking a lot about the current RTA state of things, and
hey, Ace, I appreciate you being here, man.
I gotta sleep.
Yeah. Don't worry about it, man.
Hey, Ace, real quick before you go, could I ask you one quick question? What are your thoughts about the RTA season coming up, the World Cup season? Is it looking brighter? I mean, we've been suffering through the same RTA World Cup, same, everything's the same. Are we going to see some diversity? Is things going to be better? Or you think we're actually getting objectively worse?
I think this format specifically is just getting better. It's a breath of fresh air, because all these units that are so impactful, every other game you can't use them. And so you're going to have to kind of think through your pre-bans while the match is happening, because you have to think like 2 steps ahead and be like, these units that are post-ban now because of lunatic bans are going to oscillate between being open and closed. And so which units am I going to pre-ban in the next game, depending on my first pick and second pick, to where I can really capitalize on certain openers from 2020 and 2019 to really give me the advantage. And so I love this format, even though I don't like the normal RTA meta too much. Like the lunatic format like this with the current heroes, very exciting.
It's very fun, yeah.
Nice. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I will say this before you go, but like my prediction is I think that Sylvan Sage Vivian is like one of, if not the strongest, like game 2 characters you could have in the Lunatic Draft. That from everything I played, everything I watched, that character is so strong after the first game. I don't know how you feel about it, but that's my opinion. Because like once certain things are off the table, because most things that beat Vivian are the things you're going to usually see as counter picks in match 1. That character feels so good in game 2.
I want SSB to see more and more play. So
hell
I
yeah.
love that character right now. That character's so good right now as well. For us turn 2 players, that character's a gem. I love that character now.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody,
Because of Shroometa,
do me a solid. Make sure you click on Ace Trainer's name in the title of whichever stream you're watching. Give the guy a follow, a sub, a like. Brilliant,
Thanks.
brilliant mind, and you should definitely check out his content. And Ace, I know this is later than you promised you'd stay, so I appreciate you sticking it out with us and being here, buddy.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I really enjoyed digging all of your brains and like bouncing ideas off, you know.
Oh, anytime, man, dude. You can just DM me at any time. I love just theory crafting. Theory crafting is my favorite thing. I love theory crafting.
I hate
All
it.
right. Well,
I'm
have
kidding.
a good night, everyone.
All right, see you, Ace.
Bye, Ace. Everyone say bye, Ace.
Bye, Ace.
And let me see
Oh,
if I can
no.
fix the cameras now that
No, you could just leave Renak's face there, dude. It's fine.
Yeah.
So he touched on it there, Coven. What are your thoughts on the lunatic draft mode? I mean, epic success or epic failure? We've seen one test run of it. Do you think it's really going to make the World Cup more enjoyable, or is it going to make it just like more chaotic and hard to follow?
I think it's a like extremely good idea that's being like held back by ban protection, because I think the games we saw like a couple of days ago were like amazing. I think every series was good. We saw different picks coming out, but like when you see like I don't think it's controversial to say the two best players that were there were Hazamare and KJ, and that I think that series was like a ban protection showcase because Hazamare had more openers geared than KJ, and by like the game 7 of the show match they did, we had pretty much like 10-15 openers banned, and Hazamare had more openers geared, so he had the advantage when he got to pick like Flidica in one game, he got to pick Helion Lua in another game, and it was just showcasing that like that mode is so favored towards the person with more openers geared. So
Oh yeah.
I think if they were to remove it, I think Lunatic Draft would be like probably their best invention for a while, because it's so interesting seeing how like players adapt to not being able to pick the same units they just won with, whereas last EVE7 World Cup was like you got so rewarded for if you did a good draft in game 1 because you could just run it back. And
Yeah.
another thing is just I think the reason I think like I'm pretty sure they're not going to do that is because half of their recent designs are designed with 3-pick in mind. Like I think if there's no 3-pick protection, I think Haretti becomes one of probably the worst ML5s in the
Yeah,
game.
I agree with that actually.
You can't design like you can't use that unit if you can't make sure she gets in the game. And then same thing with something like a Helion Lua. I think she gets a lot worse because you can't do the thing where if your opponent doesn't draft a proper cleanser, you just go 2 books on 4/5, you solve an S3, you win the game. Same thing with what's her name? C Phantom Polly. Her combinations with Janua, Ambitious Tywin,
Yeah.
you don't have as much access to those. So yeah, we're kind of gonna have to see it with 3-pick protection in mind. So it's a good for me with that. With everything considered, it's just like a good feature. It's definitely better than last year, but it's not as good as it could be.
Yeah. I mean, I know I get a lot of flack from viewers, but I'm right there with you. I still am not a huge fan of 3rd-pick ban protection. I'm softer on it now than I was 6 months ago. Right? Like I would prefer it's gone, but I don't mind if it's still here as much anymore. But there are some people who really hate it. Like Tristen will back me up on this. We're in a group chat. There, you know the meme where it's like 0 days without controversy. There is literally a zero number of days since Kukerbat has complained about 3rd-pick ban protection. That thing literally it never makes it to 24 hours. It is the 0 goes up when we hit midnight.
Yeah,
it is so funny every time, dude. Like it'll just be like clockwork. You'll wake up in the morning and be like Kukerbat being like daily reminder. When's it going away? When's it going away? And can we nerf Haretti? Like that'll be thrown there half the time.
yeah.
So, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon because when you've committed half a year to a year of designs to this one feature, you're gonna do every single thing you can do to not remove it. I think the best we'll see is probably like it gets moved from 3-pick to another pick. I don't know which one they would choose, but I don't think it's going away anytime soon. I think at least another few seasons before they give up on the experiment.
Yeah. No, I do agree though. Also with your assessment, the one thing I have noticed that is a little bit irksome is that it does lunatic draft favor people that have more openers pick. Like you only need to go back and watch the matches, right? Pera Luna band, then there's like Renak and another one, and then or Litica, and then we go to game 2, and then Conquer all of a sudden's there, and then it's just like the blue Peras, the Rands, and you're just like, okay,
Exactly.
that's fine and all, but I would, I think for the sake of viewership, I would have liked to have, there'd be it's been one of my like pet peeves for a while, but it's like having like 1 or 2 more like accessible, reliable checks to speed would be good, because Zio and Haretti are not, in my opinion, very good designs. Like they are designed to be speed checks, but I feel like we handled it the worst possible way, right?
Yeah.
So
Also, like you said, just go back and look at the games. You can see Xander and KHM strategy whenever they're going up against KJ or Hazard was to ban 2 openers every single time. And then the same thing when KJ was fighting Hazard and he knew Hazard's probably faster than him, he banned an opener almost every single round. And it's like Lunatic is supposed to be more about you see what happened in that first game, you predict, oh, my opponent is going to try and do this, but it's instead of just, okay, I'm going to take away 2 openers every round and he's going to get weaker every round. Let's see how deep his opener pool goes, which is not what most people want to be seeing, to be honest.
yeah, I do agree with that sentiment. Right.
Oh my God, look at that. I'm
It
sorry.
would make for a more, I'm just saying, it would just make for a more interesting viewer experience if the game wasn't, there's just been so many broken openers over the years, and the only like real checks have been your Zios, your Harettis, or like I call them like Rimuru style effects, where it's like it's something that uses an effect that just kind of jumps the CR bar to cut to interrupt.
Yeah.
And there's only a handful of those compared to how many openers. Like there's probably twice as many openers as there are to those style of counter picks. And it kind of became really apparent when seeing Lunatic at the highest level. I'm really hoping that's not how it pans out for Worlds. Because I love seeing the really like obscure picks that like DPS and stuff that haven't seen play in forever. You're like, whoa, like that's so sick.
Check out what Xenokara found. Some unreleased artifacts in Epic 7. This is from back in 2020.
Go back up.
Wait, I'm not done yet. Wait for it.
There's one. That's that's an asset that has been there all along.
Yeah, it's the free artifact we get from the event.
Yeah. Oh, does that mean I can finally get the artifact that I've been waiting for forever? That's why I said go back up that third one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It looks like where did it go? It looks like we might these might be migrating back into the game. That these aren't just forgotten.
I was the third one, the sword girl. I remember I was waiting for that forever. Not her. One more down. This one. I was waiting forever for this one, and then like, I guess this design got repurposed as maybe Celine at some point.
Something like that, yeah.
But that was like, we knew about that from like the jump. Like I want to say like 2018. If you guys haven't, go back and try to find some of the old 2018, 2019 unreleased designs. Like there's some really sick character designs that never got released. Like so some of them actually.
Oh my God.
Like,
nope.
Yeah.
We were doing good there for a minute.
Yeah, Rwana was like one of the quote unquote unreleased designs for a very long time, and then she showed back up. Although she now has like a staff, she used to have a hammer.
So what this artifact is this is basically an upgraded version of the Espa artifact POS. POS started at 2% and went all the way up to 20% on attack and crit damage. This starts at 2% and when maxed out can go all the way up to 24% on attack and crit damage, and the 10% to crit chance is just locked in. Now you could get theoretically 20% crit chance, but having 10 from the start makes it a great stat stick. And I think especially units that get extra turns, this could have a lot of potential because it you know, you're like, oh yeah, 6 turns, it's gonna take a while to stack it up. You get the crit chance, period, end of story. And every time it takes the turn, you get 4% more attack, 4% more crit damage. And remember, artifacts that increase crit damage directly like this, not through buffs, exceed the cap. So this could get this to take you all the way up to a 374 crit damage unit with 24% more attack on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can definitely see some people like someone's gonna use this.
Okay, it does say
yeah.
it is every attack. So if it's a extra turn off of a non-attack skill, that won't count. But like Soul Burning Spectre Tenebria, Soul Burning, you know, Roy Mustang, you know, any or just any DPS units that are fast cycling that need some free stats. It's got some potential to be a decent artifact. What always held POS back was who needs 20% crit chance when you start out with 4? You know, it was a PvE, long fight PvE artifact only. And also with the advent of this artifact, which the POS was used most heavily in Astromancer Elena, I think you're fooling yourselves if you think that artifact is not going to be featured in the Astromancer Elena Hall of Trials that'll be coming out on Monday.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is it's not POS. It's not a POS.
It's just vastly improved POS. POS could go to 20 crit chance, but this one locks and starts at 7, and POS could go to 20 attack and 20 crit damage. This one can go to 24. So it's like literally better in every way. So and like it ramps up faster too.
It's not POS. It's not a piece of shit.
No, yes. It's POLS. Piece of less shitty.
Yeah.
That was terrible. No, don't try and play that off like that was smooth. Boo this man.
It's like our good friend, the Moas.
Yeah. Mother of all scams.
Yes. Can't wait for what code name they're gonna give to 3F.
That's right. Let's check out our 45-second video here and see if there's anything exciting to talk about in here. So the Snowfield Down is a new PvE mode that they're adding, and they're adding it to the event tab. I thought this was maybe replacing the Goblin thing where we had to spell gold, and maybe it is, but it's more involved than just a one and done kind of a thing. It looks like there's actual stamina to be spent. There's an easy, normal, and hard mode, and it's got some really, really nice equipment in it. Whole ass speed set. This is where you'll get that artifact. Doing it will earn you the currency. You do have to spend stamina, and there's more things than just gear. And this gear was good. It's level 85 gear, which means it could be 90, and it's like 34, 33 gear score start. It's like, banging awesome gear, like arena quality gear. And there's other stuff. I'm seeing charms in here, so maybe there'll be some more Mola, right?
Maybe
I like this. I like that they've added a little something for us to farm and get, keep the ball rolling on. We got all these new people in. We're not going to cut them off. We're going to give people chances to go after new stuff.
Yeah, I'm here for any type of PvE content. They need to keep PvE content. Like, they've ignored PvE for so long. They have so many new faces here. Like, we need to keep the PvE ball rolling no matter what. Like, we have to actually try to do that because, after this past week, Mr. Pokey's been, grinding through Abyss. Like, he messaged me, he was like, so, like, what happened? No more Abyss? Like, why isn't there more? Like, this is fun. Where's the,
people in chat are saying, do you think this is just a reskin to Advent?
Could be. I would be okay with that. We went through all the other Advents twice. I'll take a new boss. Same gameplay mode, but different boss with different mechanics. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I don't really mind. I'm not as much of a PvE guy as you guys, but I do if it's good PvE content, I do enjoy it. So like, I don't mind like working for these rewards. I think, I think the fact that like, for example, the carrot event had like these prot sets with bonus whatever, like how like the prot set in the shop give like I think it was 3% more HP to your barrier, which is like weird because like, oh, my barrier is bigger, but I'm using a 78 piece, which is like, I don't know why they didn't just make it a normal prot set piece, but yeah, this looks like it could be interesting. I'm down to see how it goes.
And for people who are still worried the carrot event's going away, I'm not going to have access to as much free stuff. We're getting a Renox surprise check-in event, so probably your basic advent calendar thing where every day you check in, you get some stuff. There's usually summons and bookmarks and things like that in there, so that's kind of nice. The exclusive equipment for Elf Boy and Stick Girl, that'll be fun.
Stick Girl.
And just in case there's new people here who don't know better, none of these units are worth pulling. Don't do it.
Nope.
They're all good. If you luck sack into them, be happy you have them, but they're all very, very old. Kayron's 2018, Bologna's 2019, Ken, I believe, is 2019.
Nope, Ken's a release unit, bro.
Ken's a release. Okay, he's 2018 as well. They've been around forever, and they have found places in the game. Bologna saved my life in this game. I wouldn't be playing Epic 7 if it wasn't for Bologna, no cap. But we're rolling into summer. And summer is the season of limited units. They're going to rerun a summer event with Frida and Festivita, and everybody's going to want Frida on their team. She's too important to not have, and Festivita is just cute as hell. They're going to run a brand new summer unit with at least two brand new limited summer units. So that's 4 limited units, and that's all going to happen sometime within the next 3 months. It's always June, July, August. I think one time they did slip summer into September, but it was because of crowding issues. But still, that's all that kind of range. And people are saying collab in chat. There's always a chance of a collab. We know one's coming. We just don't know when. That's all I could squeeze out of them in the meeting. That's all I could squeeze out of them is there are things in the work. I can't tell you when, but things are going to happen. And I said, happen what? Happen in the next few weeks, next few months, this year? He said, I can't say. It's an NDA. They would legitimately get in actual legal job-threatening trouble if they leaked it. So you'll find out when I find out, guys. All I can tell you is collabs are not something they've decided to not do. They are always working to secure collabs, and it is a process, especially with the unit engine. But be careful. Don't. I mean, unless you don't mind swiping. If you don't mind doing this side story, if you don't mind doing this side story, then you get whoever you want. But if you are going to try to stay responsible with your spending or be free to play, don't touch any of these units. They are not worth it. No matter what they're used in a guide, there are ways around it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep, I agree. Like, as tempting as it is, like, to get like maybe a Shepherd of the Hollow, it's still not worth it. It's just not worth it.
And the rerun banner, this one's kind of crazy, right? Light Ruel, Light Kisei, Light Pavel, Light Bellion.
The arena banner.
You mean Light Destina, sir?
And does that mean maybe Dark Suin? Or Surin?
Yeah, this is a really weird banner because, like, I think 2.5 of these characters are good. But
2.5. Who's half good?
Judge Kisei is, I think, the half good character. I think
are they light units?
I think that Judge Kisei is a good character, but I think 99% of the player base cannot effectively use her. Right, like she's been used for like Legend Arena cleaves, and I have seen her used in like Legend RTA, but it requires very specific setups. So like she is very strong, but most people can't actually like take advantage of that character. It's weird. It's kind of like she's on the cusp of being like, if she had like something to help her stat line out a little bit, she might actually get there and be like a really like usable character by a lot of the player base. So she's almost there, I feel like. And then you have Bellion, who I think is just a absolutely absurd character, like just one of the best characters in the whole game. The problem is that if you came in with the E7 Origin event, you can't use the thing that makes the character insane, which is 3F.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is like it's frustrating. That's why I got so mad at the night class banner, because it was MOAS and it really needed to be 3S instead, or 3F, not 3S, but 3F instead. It needed to be 3F, was what it really should have been. And if that was the case, if we lived in another another world line where it was 3F, Bellion would have been like a snap pickup.
I think the fact that it's not 3F is giving some people who are holding out hope that we'll see an Overlord rerun still.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think they're probably gonna prioritize doing it on collabs they know aren't coming back.
We know Espa's never coming back.
Espa collab, because I think it was it ReZero where we didn't have a rerun for like 2 years or something, and then it just suddenly came back.
I think that was Slime. Was this? No, you're right. That was ReZero.
Yeah. So maybe I think like Overlord is probably the most likely to come back since it's the most recent one.
Also, just got a movie too.
Yeah.
So my take on these units, guys, is Judge Kisei is a very strong unit. Don't believe the hype that she's not very good. She's powerhouse unit, but only at a very, very end game state. She is tough to gear and tougher to use. She's not new player friendly. I think if you pull for this unit and you're relatively new, you're going to wind up shelving her for several months until you have the gear to handle her. Pavel is kind of a dead unit right now. He's not really usable with anti-penetration. He's very hard to use. Ruel is super, super good, but there are alternatives to her, and you can live a happy life without her.
I can.
And Bellion is so strong. I have 3 freaking Bellions built. I mean, she's that heckin' good, but she is she's not a unit that you use so much as she is a unit that you AFK use. She's an arena defense unit. She is a Guild War defense unit. Every once in a blue moon, you'll be able to whip her out in RTA, but it's few and far between. Ace Trainer was only able to stay with us for the first hour.
My recommendation,
I guess my long story short is, if you're brand new, there's nothing here so important that you should feel compelled to pull. Now, if something here is waifu and you got to summon based on what the little head is telling you, the little head will always win over the big head. You do what you got to do. But I would be very cautious about missing out on a chance to pull at some of the broken new characters to chase one of these.
Yeah, the 2 that are good are Bellion and Ruel, if that wasn't obvious. Like,
yeah,
right,
especially on a new player angle.
I think from a new player perspective, if you don't care about PvP, Ruel is actually like pretty good, right? Like, she's not optimal anywhere, but like that character was so good. Like, that character was so good for me as a new player. Like, I used to make so many mistakes when I didn't understand the game, and that character was like the ultimate safety net. And that's why she always has like a spot in my heart, because I was like, man, do you have any idea how many times I messed up on like Abyss or this other thing, and Ruel saved my bacon? So
let me bang this out real quick, because we got so many people watching right now. A lot of people don't know this. If you are at pity and you're like, man, I sure would like to pull for Ruel, but one more summon and I'll blow my pity, switch to the 4-star character. If you summon on the 4-star character, it hides the 5-star pity. And if you get Ruel, it doesn't waste your pity. Now, if you get the 4-star unit, it'll waste your 4-star pity, but most people don't care about that. So it is a way to be able to continue to summon, burn your extra leftover bookmarks, and just take shots. Maybe you luck sack, maybe you get your Bellion, maybe you get your Ruel, maybe you get the unit that you're chasing while your pity is hidden, and then when Arya comes out or when Ross comes out, you switch back to summoning on the 5-star banner, you drop your pity, and you got that unit. Yeah, see, there's people in chat. So many people don't know this, and it's one of the little-known secrets of Epic 7 of how to min-max your mystics. Don't sit here and be like, I'm at pity, and I want Ross, so I guess I don't get to spend any mystics until August. Switch it to 4-star, and you're safe. There is no rate difference. There's no difference in the banners. It's the same chance to get a 5-star. It's the same chance to get a 4-star. Switching those back and forth hides one pity and activates the other. Just make sure when the banners shift that you look before you push the button. I'm not positive, but I got it in my head that when we shift out of Arunca and into this, it'll immediately swap you back to the 5-star. And I don't want you to be like, going back to pulling on my stuff, and you don't realize you need to shift it back to the 4-star. Make sure you activate the 4-star banner to hide your 5-star pity. Then you can summon all the hell you want.
Yep.
Yes, who am I? Yes, you can absolutely. It's the same banner. You have the same rates no matter what. It's just that it ticks down the pity for whatever one you have as your focus. So if your 5-star focus says guaranteed summon next summon, and you switch the focus to 4-star, you basically hide the 5-star until you switch back to it. So then you could basically go, all right, well, I have my pity saved up for Arya or Genesis Raz. I don't want to roll for but I want to take a shot at Bellion, right? So you switch to 4-star pity, and then you start rolling for Bellion, and it's like, all right, well, if you get lucky, awesome. If not, okay, Genesis Raz is here. Switch back to 5-star, grab the Genesis Raz.
This is how confident I am this works, guys. When the game comes back up, switch to the 4-star banner, do a single summon, switch back to the 5-star banner, and notice that your pity has not gone down a notch. I mean, I'll freaking mail you $100 bill if you show me summoning on the 4-star pity has any impact on the 5-star. So it's a safe way to be able to just do random summons. And if the 5-star pops out, you're great. Now, if the 4-star pops out, you will reset your 4-star pity. And if the 4-star is, I don't know, General Purgus, and you're like, I don't want to miss out on my chance to get Dark Surin, well, you got to make some choices there, don't you?
Yeah, this trick that we're talking about, I use this to get Operator Sigret, Desert Jolbasar, and top model Lulika.
Yeah.
So I got all 3 of them without burning my pity.
All right, so that's it, guys. That was all 45 seconds of our 1 minute our 1 minute summary. The thing that leaves me feeling lacking from this content update is the content we expected that isn't here. I mean, there's the Constellation event that we were kind of expecting would come out soon, maybe sometime in May, but here we are in May, and there's still the Constellation PvE still not here, still not fully cooked and ready yet. I guess that'll be released later. We got this Advent event thing going on, but the one thing I really expected since RTA season is live is where are the free 10 support heroes, and how is that going to be implemented?
Yeah,
I am really blown away that we are season live and that's not here yet.
They made it sound like that was coming as soon as like preseason started.
Yeah,
because why would you not because it seems so weird to have it start like, oh, in the middle of the season, yep, here you guys go, 10 starter units. Like, for me, they've basically said like, now if it's not live now, it's live next preseason, which is like, at that point, why did you even announce it so early?
My best guess is they want all the people like you and Ace and Elf Mage and whatnot to climb further up the ladder, so that way they don't actually queue into you and get the fear of God put into. That's what I choose to believe. That's not necessarily what it is. But I really would have liked to have had that out as soon as possible, because we have all these new players that want to get into RTA, want to experience the game, and giving them a bunch of like souped up units to just start learning how to draft would have been nice. Like, I've had people come to me say they want to learn, but they don't know how to draft, and they're afraid that they don't have a roster. And I can't just be like, well, here's this new feature, just lock in some units and just start jamming games, because the only way you're going to learn is to literally jump into the deep end of the pool and learn how to swim.
Yeah. My other thought was like, maybe they're gathering data for like, oh, let's give them 10, let's not give them like the 10 best of the best, but let's give them 10 solid options that were good during the season.
They said you get to pick the units. So like, it's like draft. Yeah, you get to just choose 10 from like a pool.
Yeah, I mean, that's
even someone like me, I want that, because I don't have Hellion Lua. I want Hellion Lua for my playstyle.
Yeah, for me that makes it even like more like
Baffling.
questionable why it's not out yet, because
But-
surely you would just like let people pick from the builds you use in draft mode. That being said,
Would you
having some
though?
of the
See,
draft mode builds are ridiculous. Like
yeah, you see
that
my Elegos
Flitica-
here? He's 14 speeds slower with less damage than the draft mode Elegus.
the Flitica in draft mode is the most fake thing I've ever like. You can't get over 300 speed with immunity, with effectiveness,
Yeah,
and like 100%. Like that build doesn't exist.
I'm
Is that really his draft mode build?
yes.
Yeah,
Because like that sounds like that's the most broken one we've ever had. Because you guys
No,
remember when it
Flitica's
first-
worse.
You guys
Yeah,
remember
Flitica is-
the ambitious Tywin when that game mode first came out? That
Oh
was
my
like the most not real thing I've ever seen. It was like a 260
Wasn't,
speed.
Wasn't
ambitious
Flitica like
Tyrant.
495 gear score? I mean, she was almost 500
Yeah.
gear score.
I don't know who, like, some of these builds are 300 gear score, some of these builds are 500 gear score. Like,
And-
I don't know why. Like, how does it make sense that the Elegos in draft mode is faster than the Ran and the Pera in draft mode?
Yeah, that
So-
doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
So, I mean, if they unleash those monsters, it kind of limits the 10 people pick, right? Because there's some ones in there that just everybody will pick. And also, like, you would have to be like, yeah, you know what? I would really like a Hellion Lua. I don't have a Hellion Lua, but at the same time, if I take the 314 speed Elegos, I can move this gear onto other units and improve the rest of my account vastly. I think you'll see a lot of people ungearing their Fliticas, ungearing their Elegoses, ungearing their Morts, and just using the god tier ones that are in the draft mode, and then using that gear, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. That could add a little bit of variety where suddenly you can gear more units, especially for newer players. But I just don't know that they're going to give us the Legend plus Ultra kits that are in some of these draft mode builds.
This is why I was hoping it was in these patch notes today, because it's just like, how is it going to work? Like, how do we get 10 up front? When do we get to like cash them out? Like, is it like Grace of Growth where I can swap them out every couple of days? Am I locked into that for the
Are you
season?
locked in for the season? Yeah.
Like, please, I need these details. This is like a super important feature for not just new players, but veterans. Like, this drastically changes the way that everybody will approach World Arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of seems like they announced this like, wow, like it's like maybe halfway through development. I was like, oh, get excited, guys! Maybe in like a season and a half,
Oh, don't
you
make
guys
it
can
like
have these 10 units.
trade ship. That's all I think about.
There has
Oh,
to be some
no.
restriction, like one battle a day. Why Unity though? I mean, one of the things that you'll hear people commonly say is like, to succeed in Arena, you only need like a dozen units. I mean, to get to Emperor Legend competitively champion, that takes a whole freaking village. But to just be able to get your frame, you can bang it out with, between 10 to 20 units. So having 10 for free suddenly lets relatively new people be able to jump in and get their frame, enjoy RT. Right now, if you look at the metrics, bronze, gold, silver, and challenger, nobody fucking plays in that area. It's all there's a handful of champion, and then it's all heavily weighted into champs and above because people don't have the stuff to dive right in, and when they try, they get steamrolled by people who have 300 speed Rans sitting down in bronze. So I think it is a way, especially if they give these high-end units, it's a way for people to kind of all be able to compete and enjoy RTA at a lower level, and maybe let people start practicing and indoctrinate people into enjoying RTA and make the champions, emperors, and legends of the future. I would like to think that's the goal. I'm just sad it's not here yet. Clearly, lunatic mode was made to separate it from the 10 so that you don't have this whole min-maxing of gear in the World Cup, because I would assume the 10 thing is only going to be for ladder and not going to be for mock battles and lunatic mode stuff. But again, we don't know. There's no data on it yet, and it's driving me nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Smallgate, please.
do something. It's like that meme where the guy is like, he has a stick and he's just poking the
Do
thing. Just,
something.
come on, do something. Like,
Do
hey,
something.
like even like when you look at the frenzy, like, sure, everyone's like, oh, they're finally trying something with the 1500 attack, even though I think that was probably like one of the worst ideas they've come
Yeah.
out with. But like,
I think it's the second worst frenzy they've ever done. The worst one being the everyone has Sasha Thanes.
yes, the classic. But then like they removed it and they just didn't replace it. They were just like, yeah, we don't feel like adding anything else. Just do what you like with
Carrot's
this like
better, guys. Woo!
way.
I
Yay.
unpopular opinion, I kind of like it. I think they could have handled it a little bit better, maybe been a little bit more what's the word, transparent about it. But I like the idea of saying it's preseason, let's do some ridiculous shit and see what happens. Okay, we'll rein it in and keep a couple of the things that seem to be balanced, and we'll get rid of the things that were ridiculous and move that into season. And preseason it's again, and we do some more ridiculous shit and see what sticks and then reel it in. I like this system better than what we had in the past, which is same goddamn frenzy for 4 freaking seasons in a row. So I kind of like that.
It just
one of my biggest gripes.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say my big thing about the frenzy that we just had in preseason that went away is it made no sense because they're like, we want to give defense to make sure that aggression's not too strong, but to make sure that tanks are not too good, we'll give everybody 1500 attack, which makes no sense because guys, so if you don't know, 310 defense is worth 525 attack. So please make it make sense to me when they're like 500 defense to help the turn 2 players versus 1500 attack for the turn 1 players. I was like, they get literally double what we get.
I could tell you
for
3 weeks though, for 3 weeks, she got out of her wheelchair and was doing things.
I was like, please make it make sense from a math standpoint.
When I saw a Gala doing 20k damage to an Illinois through pen resistance, like, something's not right. And then another thing I wanted to say is like RGB Frenzy getting removed was like, I think that really tilted me the most because, for example, my first game of this season, I was playing SSB against Red Flan. I got S3 and then dual attacked, and my SSB was dead. And it's like, it's so. I think RGB Frenzy. My whole take is like RGB Frenzy should have been part of the game from the start because I think the fact that like you have a 50-50 chance of doing full damage versus no damage doesn't make any sense because it's actually just flipping a coin every attack you do. But like the 30% reduction made an impact because if I'm picking an advantageous element, I should have some kind of advantage all the time, not like 50% of the time and then the other 50% it doesn't matter. So that's like there's a reason RGB Frenzy was in the game for like how many years and everyone liked it, and then they removed it. They didn't, and when you, especially when you have a DPS like Flan where she can like shotgun you with attacks and like if she crits you twice, you probably die.
Yep.
It's just I'm not really a fan, and I do hope they bring it back, but it's not going to be this season at least. So
I don't think that's not really a hot take. I think I would like that to come back also. I mean, there's a lot of things that I think that there should be. Like, I think that you shouldn't just innately have essentially 100 effectiveness in the game. I don't think that should be a thing. But
I got tired of these kind of conversations. Like, you have the 50%, the fact that like either ER is like, because their whole point was like, if we don't give them 100 effectiveness, ER is the most broken thing ever. If we give them effectiveness and then they stack it, ER is the most useless thing ever. So that's why we have to have 15%. It's like, what if we didn't give them 100 effectiveness, but then we also removed 15%? Aren't both issues kind of like reduced? But I've given up because it's pretty obvious they're never going to consider either any of that. So
yeah, it's also not exciting for people to not have their skills, like to have their skills resisted, and it's just like I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, I don't care, bro. Build the character better.
I remember the first World Cup when I think it was the finals where the guy got dual attacked twice, and he essentially lost 30k to 2 dual attacks, which is like, if that happened to me, I would never touch this game ever again. Like,
oh yeah,
that's like the most extreme version, but it happens, so like we have to consider it.
Yep. It's the game we play. It's the game we love. It's the game
Yeah.
we hate.
The poor boy that's on the screen, I think, suffered the most, and I know there was a lot of "Where's my Crow" recall. A lot of people were really upset because we were used to Frenzy sticking around for 3 or 4 seasons. Nobody expected the rug pull to happen so fast, and now you've got to slow your Crow down to have him do any damage. I mean, to be fair, there was 290 Hua Youngs that were out there one-shotting anything too, but it was a little ridiculous, the things people were doing with Crow. Do you think Crow is like recall worthy level nerfed now, or do you think that the removal of the frenzy, although it hurt him, it didn't really ruin him for gameplay?
I actually still like this character. I feel like this character, people are not giving this character a fair shot anymore. Like, do I think he's tier 1? Hell no. But I still think he's like a solid character, right? I still think he's like maybe low tier 2. I've been winning games with him. I like him.
Yeah. So some of my guildies had some. They thought like the frenzy was introduced just to sell Crow, and then as soon as they did that, they took it away. I think he did get like pretty significantly worse, but he was so like strong with the frenzy that like he's not dead by any means. So I think the calculation was like he lost like 6,000 damage or something like that, which is like he went from comfortably one-shotting stuff like DDR, which I thought was ridiculous to start with, to like now he can maybe kill DDR if you like ban mitigation, which is how I think it should be. So I think you're not gonna ungear him based on the 500 defense loss. You're just gonna slow him down, like you said, because him being able to do what he was doing at 300 speed was that's not good for the game. And
no, it's not.
Like
yeah.
Now it's a lot more
Bruisers should not should not be one-shotting characters in this game. But like, if it's like like a 7,000 HP Lilius, like sure, like that character is like much easier to answer. Like if it's a glass cannon character like your Sids, right? I don't care. I just had this conversation with Professor Loki earlier. Like, I'm okay with Fenris one-shotting characters because he's literally made of paper. But like Crow is not made of paper. He shouldn't be fast and one-shotting characters. But I think this notion of a character that can comfortably operate between like 240, 250 speed, can actually take a couple of hits and still, if you ban Mitt, potentially put up a kill on other characters. I think that's fine.
Yeah, I think he's chilling. Crow is, I think he is a lot better off than like some units out there. Like the Garland example I mentioned earlier. She went from she became usable with the frenzy, then now she's right back to being useless. Like, look at this build. This is ridiculous. Like,
and this was one shot. Yeah, this was one shotting things like,
with 500 defense on top of this, right?
With 300, like this is faster than my opener, and it's
artifact's not even maxed.
For example.
That's exactly
like,
it. Yeah.
What?
It shouldn't be allowed to do that, because like when you guys think about this, like when you build characters, it is an allocation of like stat points, right? Like think of it like, oh, you got to assign points to attack and points to crit chance, and Crow only needs to assign 3 stats: health, defense, speed. Like that's already kind of an issue. Like that's why Laya was so good, because she only needed to assign health, defense, speed. Right? And now compare that to Blue Arya, who needs defense, health, crit chance, crit damage, speed, ER, maybe effectiveness if you want to blind or a strip. Like she literally needs everything in the kitchen sink. That's why she's so difficult to build. Mm-hmm. Like it's a good kit, but the character you simply do not have enough points to allocate to everything to really make the character work. So whenever a character only needs like 3 stats, like ML Luna, if you play her on book, what does she need? Health, defense, speed.
Yeah, that's just the law of the game. Like bruisers are naturally hard to build, and then you don't want units like Crow to be doing that much damage because they're so easy to build. Like you don't need good gear for your Crow to one-shot stuff, which was how it was before. But now you actually have to think about, I need more defense, like I need less speed and stuff like that.
Yeah. This also reminds me, because she's behind me right now. Renak. What does Renak need? Attack speed.
I don't
Oh,
necessarily agree
really?
that that's the reason they removed the frenzy, Evan, but I do think it's the reason for the timing.
Yeah, if you only have to
Well,
max out like 2 or 3 sliders, it's usually a sign the character can't really be bad. Unless your name's Lethe.
Oh no,
I'm sorry. I
Lethe.
had to do it. I had to do it. I love her, but I had
Oh
to do it.
man.
or Lethe.
That character was so fun, but oh my god, dude. Death Dealer Ray and the rainbow colored rat put her in the ground. Holy.
Or Lethe.
Yeah. There are so many like units that had like they're like couple months, couple weeks to shine, and then they just get headshot instantly.
Dude,
Lethe had like a season maybe where she was really
yeah.
strong, and then all of a sudden she's just like so
Oh,
weak.
dude, killing Navy Captain Landes with Lethe was like the most satisfying thing in the world. I was like, yes, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
I would when my Lethe would get that first like drag down that first kill and I snowballed out of control and Lethe just took over and won me for it. It was one of the best feelings at Epic 7. And
I
then
miss
they were
shouting
like,
drag him to SeaWorld. Take him to
yeah,
the bottom of the sea, Lethe.
and then Death
We're all in
Dealer
chat
Ray,
singing Under the Sea. Good times.
yeah, she came out in like July, like late June, and then by like October we had Death Dealer Ray, and we're like, oh well, that was fun while it lasted.
yeah.
Back it up. So, sorry, big titty
Yeah.
girl. Maybe some other time.
Oh, the DDR. I always think like, what would E7 be like if they didn't buff DDR? How fun would this game be? Because I think DDR buff is what led them to design Shu, because people were like, oh, we only have DDR for injury. What about when they add more injury? And then that's how Shu came about. Because
Evan's favorite character, Dark Corvus,
Yeah,
is totally on. Those two characters single-handedly make Dark Corvus unplayable in every game mode.
Easy Dark Corvus buff. He's wearing so much armor he can't be injured, immune to injury.
exactly, doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
How is a guy throwing like a potion in his face, just taking away half his HP?
Yep.
Like, did you just hit me with a bottle? And then he runs over and smacks him with the axe. Well, guys, I think we're going to need to wrap it up here. We got a theory tomorrow, and I think all of us are going to be super busy. So, I really appreciate you hanging with us, Coven, and giving us your take and perspective on RTA and where we're going.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. It was fun to chat with you guys, kind of bounce off ideas, bounce off my opinions. So, yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Thanks for being here, buddy. I appreciate you.
Problem,
just like before, if you guys are not following, liking, subscribing, donating, doing all of the right things for Coven, make sure you click his name in the title of whichever stream you're watching and give him a little bit of love and catch him next time he's live. The guy's brilliant and fun to watch, so don't miss out. Be a part of it. And Sue occasionally will do stuff and make you play Commando Arena. Who even has that unit? But go ahead and click on his stuff too while you're at it.
Yeah, I will say this about my favorite content that Colvin does is when you do those draft breakdowns where you basically explain an OP character, you walk people through the draft of how to play the character, and then you flip it on them and go, okay, now here's how you beat it. Like those are always my favorite. The draft breakdown videos were like, holy, I watch it for 20 minutes and I'm like, I know everything.
Thank you. Yeah, those are my favorite ones to make, because like they take, first of all, like half of those characters I try and do it as soon as I can after they come out, so I have to do like a lot of research. So like I'm on match history for like a couple hours seeing like, is this draft a good example? Is this draft a good example? And then I'll like ask in Discord, I'll ask Winter, I'll ask AB, like, oh, what do you guys do in this situation? So like, yeah, it takes a lot of effort. So I'm happy like people appreciate like those videos especially.
Yeah, people have been asking me a lot lately, like, what happened, Sue? How come you haven't been doing the How to Play series as much anymore? Like, and I'm just like, do you guys have any idea how many man hours it takes to make one of those videos? I have to talk to Coven or Ace or or I'll hit up Elv or I'll have to crowdsource so much information to be like, hey Valky, what do you think about this? And then you have to like actually do the footage, like find the footage, right? And then still find like the 8 hours to edit it all. and like it ends up being like a 30-hour project for one how to play video. And I was like, I used to love doing, but it's just like it's so time consuming. I'm so thankful that so many people have been asking me to bring them back. Like I'll try my best to find a way to do it in a more condensed fashion, but being
that's a
up to
beautiful
date,
Dark
like
Corvus.
being up to date, finding reliable people to bounce ideas off of, making sure that everything is sound, double checking it so that it's not. You don't want to sound like you're talking out your ass, right? You want to make sure that it's good, verifiable information you're giving the community.
Yep.
It's rough.
Pretty much.
All right, guys, we're all going to go over and we're going to say hi to Valky. More
playing.
legend players. He's playing Claire Obscure right now. I'm not sure what that is, but if you have Epic 7 questions, I'm sure Valky will be happy to answer them. He is a wealth of knowledge as well. Everybody say hi, give the man a sub and a follow and a like and all of that good stuff. Guys, I appreciate you guys being here for the podcast. We try to do this every other week. We try to have new people on each time. So thank you for being here, Coven. Thank you so much for being here. And I will catch you guys tomorrow for some Etheria Restart. Make sure you guys tune in for that. Catch you guys later.
Thanks, guys.
I'll be doing the same.
Peace.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.